We've got conflicting reports on the state of the ceasefire and the Iran war. The White House is saying the strait is open. If it were to be closed, that would be unacceptable. However, reports coming from Iran are that because Israel launched attacks on Lebanon, this violates the terms of the ceasefire, and they would be closing the Strait of Hormuz. Again, the White House countered, saying this is not correct. They have not closed the strait. But what I can say is, rest assured, prominent personalities on X, be it liberal or, I guess, conservative, are cheering for the failure of Trump's ceasefire because they actually want the war, I guess. I mean, hey, if it bleeds, it leads. And if you're in commentary, there's a lot of money to be made complaining about something. You know what I think it really is? When woke basically got crushed and swept under the rug, there was nothing to complain about anymore. So the grifters needed something to complain about, started complaining about Trump. So now they're happy to see the ceasefire break down and war erupt because then they can complain about something. Let's just hope that this ceasefire does hold, negotiations work out, and then we have an end to the war. But you know what's really funny is, with that being in the news, you got these feminists, they're attacking me, saying Tim Pool is coping by saying, oh, well, you know, we didn't want the war to happen, but let's just find peace because you should be antagonistic. These people are all hypocrites. They're all liars. We're going to talk about that. Plus, big news. The DOJ has arrested a leaker. Turns out it was some lady. Couldn't keep her mouth shut. She apparently worked for SOCOM and over the past several years, according to these reports, was leaking classified information to reporters. And the response on the internet has been particularly brutal and sexist, you know, saying that women will just keep talking about everything, I guess. We'll talk about that. And we got some crazy stories, too. There's a viral video of a guy setting fire to a warehouse in California, this massive fire, because he said we weren't being paid a living wage. I call that leftist terrorism. Indeed. But we'll talk about that and more. Before we get started with all that, my friends, we've got a great sponsor for you tonight. It is True Gold Republic. Check out truegoldrepublic.com/Tim. Do it. Having sound money and financial independence is important. Hard assets are extremely important. That's why you guys should check out True Gold Republic. You look at the state of the world right now. We got wars. We got NATO under pressure. The dollar being weaponized, $36 trillion in debt. And you've got people seemingly cheering for more war. They just can't accept a ceasefire. That freaks me out the most. Gold can't be printed. It can't be sanctioned. It can't be devalued by a press release. Central banks are buying it at record levels right now. The people who run the system are hoarding the one thing they cannot print that tells you everything. Insert True Gold Republic. Real physical gold and silver, not paper, not ETFs, metal you can hold. Check out their Independence Bundle, a physical gold starter kit, a one-on-one with experts, and bonus precious metals on top. The chaos isn't coming, my friends. It's already here. So go to truegoldrepublic.com/Tim or call 1-800-628-GOLD. Again, that's truegoldrepublic.com/Tim. Do it. And don't forget to join us at timcast.com. Get in that Discord server, my friends. It's not about what you know. It's about who you know. And when you're in that Discord community with tens of thousands of people, you know a lot of people. And that network is power. Got a project you're working on? Need someone who might be able to give you advice? Make some friends. Figure it all out. And in the meantime, as a member, you support the work that we do here at Timcast. So it is greatly appreciated. And don't forget, my friends, if you're watching right now, smash that like button. Share this video anywhere you can. Joining us tonight to talk about this and so much more is Adam Francisco.
Hey, guys. Nice to meet you, Tim, finally.
Hey, right on.
Excited to be here, and I'm excited for a great conversation today.
Who are you? What do you do?
My name is Adam Francisco. I do street content. I'm a big Donald Trump supporter. I'm actually wearing his jersey right now, number 47, Donald Trump. And I talk about the news when I go out there, hit the streets. I go to a lot of left-wing protests in the MAGA hat and film the reactions, film the meltdowns, and I have a great time doing so.
You were just at the No Kings protest?
3 No Kings in one day.
Wow.
95-degree day in Florida. It was hot. As the day went on, the liberals got more and more crazy. So,
but the protest worked because there's no kings.
It worked.
They're not anywhere around. So
great job, Democrats.
Yeah,
you guys killed it.
Preempted it.
We got Ian hanging out.
Hi, everybody. Happy to be here.
Carter's pressing the buttons.
What's up, man? Thanks for coming.
And Phil is rocking out.
Hello, everybody.
Let's jump to the news. We got this from ABC. Reopening of the Strait of Hormuz in jeopardy after Israeli attack on Lebanon. Reopening the strait was a major part of the U.S.-Iran ceasefire agreement. They say just after Hegseth and General Dan Kane, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, said on Wednesday the Strait of Hormuz had reopened, Iran said it had closed the passage and accused Israel of violating the deal. A major part of the 2-week ceasefire agreement reached Tuesday night, just hours before Trump's deadline to respond to his threat. We get it. You're like, ABC, you don't need to add that stupid these are wasted words, right? Just tell us the news. Anyway, requires Iran to reopen the vital passage for trade and oil to international shipping before peace talks can begin. But after allowing a handful of ships, including 2 oil tankers, to pass through the strait, Iran said it closed the strait, accusing Israel of violating the ceasefire by launching a major attack on Lebanon. Iran's FAR news agency, which is affiliated with the Islamic Revolutionary Guard, or Corps, reported. Now, the White House was asked about this, and Time magazine reports White House Press Secretary Carolyn Levitt on Wednesday disputed reports that Iran had closed Strait of Hormuz hours into a fragile ceasefire with the U.S., but said any effort by Iran to stop maritime traffic would be completely unacceptable. Levitt addressed reporters soon after Iranian state media had reported that the strait had been closed in response to attacks by Israel against the Hezbollah militant group in Lebanon. So this is interesting. I'm going to say, obviously, we are begging that this ceasefire holds because we don't want war, right? We want peace. And the ongoing theme so far has been just a bunch of anti-Trump people who are conservative or liberal seemingly cheering for the ceasefire to break. The moment this news comes out, what do you get? All of these libs being like, ha ha, told you so, ha. Why don't you help? Like, how is what you are doing beneficial in any way to the efforts to stop this conflict?
It's like people that are so obsessed with their football team they feel the vitriol and the love so intensely that they forget about, this whole league could end tomorrow. Like, your games mean nothing in the big grand scheme of things. This is everything.
So wait, what are you saying?
The people that are acting like Trump, bad, good, I'm on this side, I'm on that side, are like sports fans when the whole fucking league could fall apart.
Language.
Thank you. But just get your head out of the dirt and look around at what we really need to do as a human species right now. It has nothing to do with Donald Trump. He's just a piece of the puzzle.
Well, I mean, it is good that if we can get the war to end, that is an undeniable good, right? Stop dropping bombs, stop shooting missiles. And I think at least for the U.S.'s part, we as in the United States have held to our part of the bargain. I don't think that we can make Iran stop shooting missiles at Israel or Israel stop shooting missiles at Iran. But like I said, for our part, we're like, look, there is a ceasefire between us and Iran. And as long as Iran isn't shooting at U.S. bases and Americans aren't shooting at Iran, we're doing our part to stop it.
Well, then
I'd
Israel's
like to see
jeopardizing everything we're doing.
Yeah,
Iran's attitude is you're providing the weapons and resources to them.
Well, I mean, that's always the situation, though. It's like people expect the United States to be able to tell Israel what to do, or they say that Israel is actually
right. We get it. Then the end result is simple. Iran has to be flattened. If Iran is telling the United States that we are responsible for what everyone else is doing, then these people can't be negotiated with. So if that's the case, but look, Iran's going to say, bring Israel to heel, get them to stop bombing Lebanon. Trump needs to state publicly, we have nothing to do with Israel. That's what he should be saying right now. Yeah. Otherwise, there's going to be war with Iran.
The more daylight there is between the U.S. and Iran since U.S. and Israel since the ceasefire, I actually think that's better for the U.S. because, just like Tim said, Iran is going to continue to say that it's the U.S.'s fault that Israel is doing these things. Even though Iran was shooting missiles at Israel right after the ceasefire started yesterday, and Israel was shooting missiles at Hezbollah in Lebanon.
But that stuff does happen after there's public announcements because they have to go to bases and give them orders. Yep. And people wonder why it is. They're like, we had a ceasefire. Why are they still shooting? Because when a prime minister or president says on TV a thing is happening, the orders have to go through the chain of command to the base and say, hey, guys, okay, we're canceling this operation.
Yeah.
So you'll still see strikes.
My deep fear over the last 6 years, and I don't talk about it a lot because I don't want to project fear, is that
the dark?
It's the fear of the dark. I'm still, that's why I'm wearing these sunglasses. I'm terrified right now, Phil. Is that the people will distance themselves from Israel to a point that Israel becomes kind of on an island of aggression, and then the whole world tries to stop them and they initiate thermonuclear war.
They won't be able to. Bro, Israel's the size of New Jersey. They're not going to war with the world. It's not like it's just mind blowing me, dude. Israel is not that powerful. Like I'm actually not trying to rag on Israel with that statement, but they're the size of New Jersey and they are a conflicted state within themselves, right? They're you've got settlers in the West Bank, you've got the Al-Qassam brigades, you've got Hamas in Gaza. Israel's busy dealing with its own borders. They're not going to war with anybody.
Not right now, but it's a long thing. I'm like, wow. This is the whole, don't become the demon you're trying to destroy. Don't build this up so much that all of a sudden Israel is at a breaking point. Like, for whatever reason, they do feel I don't know. I don't want to speak for the people of Israel.
There are the Abraham Accords, and there have been efforts to kind of normalize relations between Israel and most of the other countries in the Middle East, and that's a positive step. I don't see, you don't see Israel basically getting into drawn out conflicts with other countries. It's just Iran.
And Lebanon. They said
They're not.
they're
The
take
conflict.
over a piece
The
of Lebanon.
conflict in Lebanon is not about Lebanon. It's about Hezbollah, and Hezbollah is funded by Iran.
So they said they're going to occupy a piece of Lebanon to prevent Hezbollah from attacking. And it's similar to if the cartels were hitting us from Mexico and we went in and occupied. I'd be okay with it. Like, yo, bro, control your militia, or we're going to control it for you.
Well, I don't know that Lebanon can control Hezbollah. Hezbollah's like
They control it. They control Lebanon.
Well, but what I'm saying is Hezbollah's not like Hamas, right? Hamas is very, very, they're like a really small potatoes kind of terrorist group. Hezbollah is a serious militia with serious equipment because Iran has been sending them equipment. So I don't know that Lebanon can actually control them the way that we're saying here. And I think if they could, they would, because Lebanon doesn't want Israel to take a part of Lebanon.
And if the Mexicans could control the cartels, maybe we'll see a future where that happens. But if they can't, it's a very similar thing. This is a warning to you, Mexico. And it's not like I want this to happen, but if you don't control your
Canada
militant,
too, huh?
Insurgencies, someone else will.
Hey, I gotta tell you, I love poutine and I love tacos. And so if the U.S. has to take Canada and Mexico,
Tacos with gravy and curds.
I mean,
just mixing it all together.
Well, to be fair, have you ever gone up to Montreal and had a sampling of their poutine?
No, but I worked at a Canadian restaurant called Dusty's in Los Angeles, and the poutine.
No, that's fake.
Spectacular.
That's fake.
Oh no, they're right from Montreal. They came in
fake.
from.
This is fake.
It's French fries with cheese curds and gravy.
He's wrong. He's never actually experienced.
Tell me
more.
more.
What he's talking about. So in Canada, poutine it's like saying poutine is fries with cheese and gravy is like saying pizza is bread, sauce, and cheese.
Curds.
I get it. Everybody knows that when you order pizza, you can get pineapple, you can get spinach, you can get garlic, you can get stuffed crust, you can get double-decker, deep dish. You go to the restaurants in Montreal for poutine, and they've got like 15 different things. That's right.
Yeah, garlic poutine.
And we have to take it.
Yeah, we do.
We have no choice. I mean,
take the IP.
And they've got great maple syrup. You get breakfast up there. That's where they got maple syrup up there. And we have to. We have no choice.
It's not like I want to conquer Mexico. I'm just saying if they didn't control the militia.
I don't want to.
Yeah, I don't want to. Who am I to oversee the conquering of hostile territories?
They are connected,
when I tweeted out, why shouldn't we conquer Canada and Mexico, BuzzFeed wrote it up like it was real. This is the world we live in. No one is serious. No one is actually talking about what it means to be at war with Iran. No one actually cares. And I'm sitting here being like, we got people in the chat being like, Israel runs the world. Sure, I guess. Are you going to click the like button now because I said that? Give me your money. Why should I be the only one trying to be honest?
About what? Well, I mean,
right now.
Look, I think it's silly to say that Israel controls the United States. That the U.S. is a client state of Israel. That's pretty ridiculous. The U.S. does have in my opinion, a too close relationship with Israel. Israel is a problem child in the Middle East. And like I said, the more daylight you can put between the U.S. and Israel right now, I think the better it is.
What does that mean, daylight?
The more we can have a separation of the U.S. and Israel. So I think
they're going to have some formal policy on that one, because so long as Trump and Rubio keep saying, like, we're just working with Israel on this, then Iran is going to blame the U.S. when Israel launches.
Yeah, I think that having some kind of foreign policy on it is fine. Look, I've been saying that we should end foreign aid to Israel, and that's basically means ending weapons. Basically, the foreign aid that goes to Israel is in the form of weapons. So I think that we should stop doing it. That's been my position forever. I think we should end all foreign aid personally, but I think we should end foreign aid to Israel. I don't see why we have to basically do be drawn into wars that Israel wants. I do think that Iran is a problem.
But we want war with Iran too.
Well, I mean, I suppose the United States does want the U.S. government does, but I don't know.
The U.S. government is why the conflict is in the region. Like our meddling in the Middle East, the 1979 revolution, our support for the Shah, all of these things. This is the U.S. foreign policy. They have wanted this. We invaded Iraq and Afghanistan not because of any stupid nebulous reason, but because we built military bases along the border of Iran.
Yeah, but we didn't. We went to Iraq because I think honestly because George Bush had a personal vendetta against.
That's silly, right? The idea that world leaders do things like comic book villains or it's one dimension is silly.
No, I'm not saying it's one
when you look back
dimension.
the past 30 years and you see a through line for all of the American foreign policy,
but if you look
and you conclude we went to Iraq.
You can
the first
justify.
time and second time.
You could go by just looking at like all the UN resolutions against Iraq to justify the U.S. going into Iraq in the aughts, right? Like there was all of the time that Iraq was targeting U.S. Planes over the no-fly zone between the North and South no-fly zone after the first Gulf War.
Yeah,
there was all kinds of stuff that
Saddam wanted to trade gold and euro. He wanted to break the petrodollar.
Yeah, but I'm just talking about the stuff that was obvious violations of UN resolutions that Iraq broke, right? Like there was plenty of like legal justification, whether or not like you believe the whole the yellow cake uranium stuff, whether you believe in weapons of mass destruction, there was enough justification where you could make the argument, right? And I'm not saying that I agree with it. I'm not saying that we should have. I'm not saying it was a good idea. But I'm telling you that I'm saying that the argument, the legal argument was there to go into Iraq, you know?
Let's jump to this next story from MS Now and take a look at what the psychopathic crackpots are saying. Oh boy, this one is going to blow your mind when you hear what Lawrence O'Donnell says.
It could not be more tragically clear now that a whole civilization has already died. The whole civilization, beginning with the model of the British Parliament, leading to the first independent American government formed under the Articles of Confederation, followed by the Constitution that wrote the presidency into existence, and nearly 250 years of the American presidency, all of that whole civilization forming the presidency died with the elevation of Donald Trump to the presidency a second time.
You know, I don't want to strike a person. You know what I mean? But anyway.
I want to subdue them with my words. That guy is
Trump
so cheap.
retreats again. The American civilization is already ended. I'm not going to swear. These people are evil. And I got to be honest, I really am at my wit's end for all of these people on the left and the right that no matter what Trump does, it's wrong. MS Now is now demanding war with Iran. They are now attacking Donald Trump for retreating. Lawrence O'Donnell wants Trump to bomb Iran. And of course, that's what these people have always wanted. They are liars and manipulators. And I feel like I'm taking crazy pills, right? Are we the only ones who are literally like, hey, how do we not have a war? You've got Trump supporters who said good for the war the whole time. I'm standing with my president. Then you had Tucker Carlson and others, Candace Owens, being like, Trump's gone crazy. This is wrong. The left has said, see, we told you so. Then Trump says, okay, no war. And they go, what a pussy. What a loser. And Lawrence O'Donnell says, oh, he's retreating again. I'm done. None of this is real.
Yeah, it's not.
There's no political discourse in this country anymore. It's a bunch of effing retards.
I thought this is an insurgency is what I thought while this guy was talking. There's an insurgency in our country that's co-opted the corporate media, some of the corporate media. This guy, whether he realizes it or not, is trying to scare people into overthrowing the U.S. government. He had a fake, talked like this, like he was Walter Cronkite. He did a word salad and then tried to scare people about whatever his talking points are, what he's become to believe. It's like if you're surrounded by people that have a brain parasite, it's not their body, it's not them that's the problem, it's what their body's doing. And like, you don't want to destroy the parasitic human. You want to extract the parasite. That's why I said I don't want to strike this guy. You know, you want to help him.
Well, I was being serious. I don't want to strike people.
Yeah, I don't either. I want to help them.
This is evil. But now we're seeing it from right-wing personalities all the same. They're doing the exact same thing. They're posting taco. Okay, guys, you are unserious people. And, you know, when I see this stuff, it makes me really respect the Democrats. Because I've said it before, but the Democrats get it. The Democrats think people are so stupid, they can't govern themselves, so you're better off just manipulating them. And then you see what people do with their freedom of speech, and you get the likes of these conservatives being like, haha, Trump's a chicken. Bro, you just spent the past month attacking him for going to war in Iran. Now you're attacking him for not going to war in Iran. You're saying literally the same thing as MS Now. You're all the same. You're all Trump derangement syndrome lunatics.
Yeah,
None of it is real.
So I made a post yesterday at around, 7:15 p.m. when the news kind of broke about the ceasefire. Let me tell you something, guys. I was so happy to hear that there was a ceasefire between U.S. and Iran, because I don't like war. I know with war, there's, civilians get killed and people die. And the first comments that I got on my Facebook page were from Trump deranged lunatics posting tacos and chickens and saying, once again, Trump chickened out. And I'm like, what exactly did you want him to do here?
Okay, nuke him.
None of it's
Trump, just nuke him.
If he followed through at 8 p.m. and destroyed a civilization, quote unquote, you would have been happy? No, you still would have been mad. So nothing Trump can do will make these people happy. There's nothing he can do.
Well, it's because they're retarded.
It's just,
Yes.
but it's just the point is, like, it doesn't matter what happens. It's just counter Trump. Like, whatever Trump does, whatever way they can criticize Trump, they're going to do it. So the fact that the fact is they're not honest. This isn't about any kind of deeply held beliefs or being anti-war or whatever. It's just, okay, we can use this as a vector of attack against Donald Trump.
Anybody out there that is a war aficionado, enjoys tactics, and to anyone else that doesn't, that surrender and retreat are not the same thing. To win a war, you retreat many times and you reposition.
Not always, but sometimes.
It is most likely prepare to retreat many times to a better position and to win your war. It's a similar with folding and poker. You have to know when to pull back. He did a bloviating threat that seemed to strike some fear into some people to wake them up. Yeah. The problem with him, and this is a double-edged sword, he's wonderful at intimidating. So the world is on their knees, basically, but the domestic population's terrified of this guy. So that's the problem we have to face. You got to assuage the public. He's not really crazy. Talk to Bill Maher about it.
I don't think anybody's actually afraid of him. I think that what we are clearly seeing with the likes of Lawrence O'Donnell is, I imagine this man walked into his production meeting and says, how are we going to lie about Trump today? And they were like, let's attack him for retreating from the war. Now we're for the war because he's against it. Guys, I got to be honest. When we talked about Donald Trump holding his, saying oxygen is good to force Democrats to hold their breath, that was a joke. But I'm actually convinced they'd do it right now. If Donald Trump came out and said, I want everybody to take a big, deep breath, breathe in that big, beautiful oxygen and live healthy, everybody, they would literally hold their breath. I think they actually would at this point. Lawrence O'Donnell would go on TV and say, no, Trump, you can't tell me what to do. I'll hold my breath all night. I swear to God.
Maybe it's like this is the phase of human evolution where people, when they think something is bad, that means that everything else they do is also bad.
I think Trump should do it. I think Trump should come out and tell everyone to take a big, deep breath.
It comes from like our ancient past where you the only way you could trust someone is at their word. And if they betray you with their word, then you think they're a liar forever and you have to live that way. But Trump's like F's with people. He messes with people on purpose in business. It's a huge part of winning in business.
I figured it out. The war's not over. Trump did this on purpose. So now that all of the people attacked him for saying he's retreating, he can come out and be like, I saw Lawrence O'Donnell the other day. He said, I shouldn't retreat. Lawrence, I don't want to, but you're right. I'm going to nuke them. Thanks for the advice. And then Lawrence O'Donnell's going to be like, no, don't. I'll be like, well, which one is it? Here's the thing. I'm half kidding. If Trump knew, and he does know, that this war is unpopular, that independents are breaking, he says, okay, no war. And instantly you get all of these people saying, oh, he's a taco. Okay, then Trump can come out and be like, Trump can give a press conference and say, when I called for a ceasefire, I was surprised to find that I was heavily criticized by both liberals and conservatives for choosing peace. Well, to the American people, your voice has been heard. We are restarting strikes on Iran effective immediately. Thank you for your concern.
Crazy.
Yeah.
And he won't do that. Thank God.
I wish he would at this point. I'm not saying to actually go to war, but like just say it. Just be like, okay, you convinced me.
My take on the Iranians, right, on the Persians, I'm going to start referring to them as Persians because they are Persian as well, is that we obliterated 140 of their top radical leaders. And now this young, whoever is in charge now, is like trolling Donald Trump on Twitter. He's like, hey, 8 p.m., final call. If 8 p.m. that's the last chance. And they're like, how about their response is, how about 1 to 2 p.m. in the afternoon? How about 1 to 2 in the morning?
I don't think so. Actually,
sneak attacking,
I have a conspiracy theory that I think the Trump admin made contact. Israel probably made contact with Iranian officials who wanted normalization because, bro, nobody wants to fight. People want to be rich. People want to have nice cars. They want to be comfortable. They want their kids to be fed. Iran is choosing to go to war for ideology. I guarantee you there were people in government who were like, We want to sell the oil that we have. We want to build libraries, go to the movies. We want to have good food. And the Trump administration said, how do we get you guys in charge? And they're like, well, you can't. There's 40 people above us. And he's like, we'll kill them all. So they go and they bomb and they wipe out the entire structure of their government. These guys come and take over. And now Trump negotiates. These people cannot come out and just say, we've given up, we surrender, because you still have 90 million people, of which about a third are IRGC ideologically motivated. So they come out and say, we won't let the country fall. Trust us. We're going to cut a deal and we're going to win. And now that means both sides need to say they've won something. But look at what the story is right now. The Strait of Hormuz will have a toll that the U.S. and Iran will share. That's the preliminary report that may occur. This means that the United States is going to get $1.50 per barrel from every Gulf nation that ships that out through the Strait of Hormuz. That sounds like Trump won. That sounds like Trump is getting a tariff on oil from other countries in their part of the world.
He's also setting up a trade deal with the Iranian people, which is huge.
Indeed. And people are saying this is going to give Iran like billions of dollars per year. Yeah, and if he eradicated the fundamentalist government, which he did, I'm not sure that actually matters to Trump anymore, especially when he's getting the other half of the billion.
Now, I guess my thoughts are like, let's help de-radicalize Israel to the best we can. I don't know what's going on in Lebanon, but we need to... What
do you mean de-radicalize Israel?
Help that situation, because if they do lash out in Lebanon, militias, Hezbollah, and things like that...
When you say de-radicalize, what do you mean by de-radicalize?
Make it so people come from a place of peace instead of fear. That instead of waking up in the morning and be like, oh my God, who's trying to kill me today? You think of like, how can I help my neighbors?
Well, yeah, I get.
Yeah, like the guy who killed Irina Zarutska. We shouldn't be worried about that. We should let those people out of jail.
No, but when you're the most powerful government, you get to a point where you can institute prosperity.
So you're saying, oh, make people wake up and not be afraid of like being killed and whatever, but like they're constantly being, they're constantly barrages of like rockets, whether it be Hamas or Hezbollah or Iran, that are blowing up in Israel all the time. And then there was the whole attack on October 7th. Look, you can say that Israel has caused problems and stuff, but you can't just be like, oh, make them stop being afraid when they literally are constantly under attack.
I think we have our civilianry in charge of our military on purpose, because we don't live in fear as a civilianry. The military is in constant fear. That's their purpose, is to be diligent and fearful and ready to blow things up. So maybe they could have a civilian government.
Got to nuke
I think
something.
they do have a civilian government.
Because the Likud party is pretty militaristic. I don't know.
Well, I mean, so it's one thing to say something's militaristic, and it's another thing to actually have the military.
Is the leader?
Let me finish.
I don't know their structure.
So the I think it's called the kibbutz is their parliament basically, and it's elected officials that maybe some of them have been in the military, but they're not like run by the military.
Well, the metaphor is like when someone's nervous system is on edge and fight or flight for 40 years, good luck asking them to relax overnight. I get it.
Well, but then what are you saying?
That you can relax.
Wait a second.
Relax. Don't worry about all
I
the
will tell you
missiles and
this.
bombs
Some
and stuff.
advice to men out there. The most important thing you can say to an angry woman who's yelling at you is relax.
Yeah.
I'm not telling you Israelis relax. I'm saying you can relax. I understand, though, that it's not a joke. And if a missile flew over my house, I mean, I'd have a completely different outlook on reality. So
I think what you're saying, though, is like if one side does stop, then you can work on the other side, though.
yeah, and if the Iranians are diligently not firing rockets anymore, then that's a good starting point.
I don't know if that's the case, though.
So far, I don't think Israel's fired. Has the Iranians fired on Israel since the ceasefire has begun? But I don't know.
Yes.
They fired once.
Yeah.
More than once.
Quite a bit, actually.
In
The fighting's not
response
stopped.
to the Israelis attacking the Lebanese.
I think yes. I think
Like that when the announcement happened, there were still missile exchanges.
But like you said, that's common.
And negotiation is beginning on Friday, so hopefully we get somewhere.
Yeah. It can coexist, man. The whole Abrahamic stuff, it's not... We got to come together so we can unify with the other religions, because like Taoism and Buddhism, they're really important. And
okay, but how?
Hinduism, it's like half the planet.
Well, no, I mean, I like, okay, so you're just like, okay, kumbaya and everything. But how do you get the Muslims and the Jews to come together and live in peace?
I think if you focus on the spirit itself and what it is, and like
Wait, hold on.
something
Phil,
everyone can agree on.
What we do is,
I don't know.
we tell all the Jews that we are having a lock-in at the rec center, and then we tell all the Muslims we're having a lock-in at the rec center, but we don't tell them that they're both coming. Then when they both show up, you lock the doors, and they have to learn how to get along.
And they have to, what we'll do is we'll play what is it? Never mind the Zohan or whatever. The Adam Sandler movie. Don't forget the Zohan or whatever. I forget.
Don't mess with the Zohan.
Don't mess with the Zohan. Play that for him because at the end they all come together and they have
that what
that
it
like,
is?
street party. Yeah, yeah,
Right, the Muslims and the Jews have.
yeah. In Brooklyn, I think it was. Yeah.
Did you see that South Park episode where they're like, and then on stage, and it's like the Israeli flag and the Islamic flag, and then they come together and it's VH, it's Van Halen, and they're like,
Yeah.
There you go.
Van Halen concert, and they're all screaming.
Look,
like,
man,
it's so good.
Van Halen can bring people together. The best party band of all time.
All right, let's jump to this next story from WRAL. Army veteran charged with leaking classified Delta Force secrets to journalist. It turns out some lady. And it was fun. Andrew Branco was like, please, no, please don't be a woman. Indeed. Courtney Williams, 40, was arrested Wednesday in connection with her alleged transmission of classified national defense information to individuals not authorized to receive it, including a journalist. Apparently, between 2022 and 25, she was speaking via phone about her time working with the elite unit without signing classified information non-disclosure agreement when she was hired and fired. So not related to the jet. Not related to the jet. But this is big news. They're calling her a leaker.
Well, I mean, if she's giving out classified information, or I mean, even talking about anything that Delta's doing is frowned upon. You know, that kind of information is secret for a reason.
Is this?
This
is not the girl. This is not the leaker that leaked the
jet stuff.
Pilot recovery
right. So what
thing?
happened was Trump said something to the effect of somebody was leaking information about the rescue operation. And then some people believed this story was that story. No, this is about some woman who was in Delta Force and was giving tons of information away to journalists. We got leakers, man.
Yeah.
Blabbers. They got loose lips.
Loose lip sync ships.
What's the motivation, though? Is it financial, you think, or is it just like, why would she leak?
We are a low trust society. Everybody is egotistical. It's all about them. You know, there was that great quote, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. But now it's the other way around.
Yeah,
Ask not what you can do for your country, but how you can extract as much value from it as it burns to the ground.
He said that she was giving info to this guy that wrote a book about alleged drug use and drug trafficking inside the special forces and stuff. So I don't know if she was getting paid by the guy for the information or what, or if she was just like, getting credit or what have you. But I mean, if you do that kind of stuff, you're going to get arrested.
She's screwed now. She was indicted, right, by the grand jury.
Yeah.
I think she's going to be charged with espionage, it looks like. So
Espionage.
that's pretty
No,
bad.
she's a leaker.
Yeah.
I don't know about espionage, though. She was talking to Americans.
What was she like on the phone or via text or something?
Yeah, apparently she was having phone calls.
Man, what the?
Yeah, none of that stuff is as private or secret as people think it is. None of it.
Oh man, with the age of cryptography, like quantum cryptography too. People are afraid of a giant.
Apparently,
global data hack.
get this, she wanted to homeschool her kids, and so I'm gonna give you the gist. I never went over my allotted leave time. I worked tremendous overtime. I traveled for days and weeks to support the unit, but it wasn't enough. That was my breaking point as a woman, as a mother. I could not stand by one more day while I was discriminated against, sexually harassed and assaulted solely due to my gender. So I stood up. I entered a legal battle. Courtney Williams v. the Department of the Army that lasted 6 years. Guys, Jordan Peterson said he doesn't know. He did an interview with Vice where he's like, we don't know if like co-ed workplaces work. I don't know if co-ed is the right word. But, and the Vice reporter's like, what do you mean? And then Jordan Peterson's like, what do you mean? What do I mean? It's only been 40 years and it's been a disaster. And the guy's like, what do you mean a disaster? He's like, look at all the lawsuits. Women are getting harassed like crazy. They're getting sued. He was like, this is insane. Like the amount of conflict in the workplace with men and women, it's incessant.
Someone just told me, he didn't give me the exact number. 98% of the women in the military are pregnant or have to do abortion or pregnancy. I don't know the number.
98?
He gave me some. He said
a lot of
most of the women in the military end up getting pregnant.
Yeah,
I don't know if he was
then,
lying to
then
me.
they don't
or
got to
what.
work. They get paid and they get houses.
Fraternization happens,
and
man.
all that testosterone.
I mean,
By the way, I think you were right about the Jordan Peterson thing. I remember that. He was talking about how men and women in their natural state, they're meant to come together and work together and partner up. But when you put men and women in the workplace, they end up competing with each other, which is against our natural kind of instinct.
But it's not even that. It's the fact that you heard what she said. I'm being discriminated against because she wants to be a mom, but she chose to be a soldier. It's like you chose to join the army, and now you're mad that you can't just raise your kids. Well, you took a male job, like a male gendered role. There you go. You got to do it now. You were allowed to do it. That was always a thing, but now do it.
Yeah, I think property.
Real quick, it offends me to no end because I tell these stories about how I was in these work meetings, and I'm not going to name the company or the people, but they hire women because they have to, and then you end up with women sitting at a table like this. And there's someone going like, okay, what's our sales strategy for this weekend? We got a big event coming up and we want to sell as much as we can. Here are the target demographics. And then one guy says, here's an idea. And then people go, that's not a bad idea. Let's come back to that. Then the woman goes, I have an idea, then says something really stupid. And everyone goes, that's not a good idea. Then later she goes, men won't listen to my opinions. They're always telling me I'm dumb. Yeah, because they only hired you because you're a woman, okay? This is the problem with DEI hiring. People feel like they're not being listened to because they're only brought there to check a box.
Yeah. I mean, the whole idea of having gender parity or having to hire people based on their gender or their identity is a terrible idea. It hurts morale in companies. You have all kinds of problems. And this is, I mean, it's basically undeniable now, just like we were talking about earlier. There's all these lawsuits. You know, anytime someone feels like they're not getting the attention they deserve, they're always going to base it on their identity. They're going to say, well, it's because I'm this or it's because I'm that. So I don't know that the solution is something that the American people are going to be able to stomach, but maybe there should be maybe there shouldn't be co-ed workplaces, or maybe you should have workplaces where women work, and maybe Islam has an idea where the women and men need to be separated, right?
I see where that idea comes from of covering the woman up with a burqa, because the male genetics...
I'm not saying
the male genetics are find as many women as you can and breed with them. That's coded into our bodies.
I'm not saying cover them up. I'm just saying.
No, I understand where that mentality comes from. Is like we need to protect. Look, men are animals. We are human. We're animals.
We're very visual.
And we are programmed to procreate with a lot of women. Spread the seed is what they call it. There's a reason you need to protect women against that somehow.
There is a reason why the
yes, you're asking men to protect the women. That's what you're saying, right?
I want to build a system.
No. Hold on. You said
I said we.
Right. So
as a human race.
Yes, but who is going to do the physical protecting? If a guy goes, ooh, a woman, I'm going to get her, who's going to stop him?
Yeah,
a lady cop. Have you watched those videos?
You allow women to arm themselves. You allow women to have their own property so they can lock their door. You allow women to protect themselves in ways other than being the hero, which you can also do.
I watch these videos where lady cops try to stop a guy, and there's like 3 lady cops, and the guy beats him up and runs away.
Yeah, or
like no disrespect, like ladies can be cops. I'm just saying. Women are smaller than guys on average.
Cops. They just have to compete at the same level.
Women shouldn't be beat cops. Women shouldn't be firefighters. Women shouldn't be direct action military. Yeah,
well, I just think they have to accomplish the same goals in their training and the prerequisites as a man. So if the job, a firefighter requires you to carry a 150-pound bag for 30 minutes, I don't care if you're a man or a woman, up, down, left to right, whatever. You just got to be able to do it. Yeah. We shouldn't change standards or just bring women on for the sake of being women.
No, I disagree.
I was going to say there's a lot of YouTube videos out there where they take average guys that don't exercise or lift weights and they put them against professional female bodybuilders.
Crush them.
And the average guys almost always win.
There's a big viral video right now where it's skinny guys versus military women.
Yes, that's one of the
videos. They handily defeat the women.
Exactly.
And the women are pissed. And they're saying he's cheating because the guy just easily pulls the rope in tug of war. They fall over. That wasn't allowed.
Grip strength. Yeah. Grip strength and the muscular torque. Maybe women have it too, but that protection power, force. I think that's a testosterone thing.
Well, they have stronger legs relative to their body, to their weight. Women do compared to men. But our upper body is much stronger in proportion to our size.
Yeah, but on average, even though women proportionally have stronger lower bodies, still men tend to have stronger overall bodies.
So. In absolute terms, men are stronger.
Yeah. I get because the human consciousness is in all of us. That the women are like, I want a chance at this world like you have as a man. I want to do it all. But there's also bounds and structures of reality that we can't ignore.
No, men can't do it all.
That's true.
Right? So what women want is women want to be women and they want to be men. Men don't want to like be women. I mean, nowadays things are getting weird. But like women, like feminist women, they're like, I want to have a family. I want to be the CEO. I want to be the girl boss, and I want to be able to stay home with my kids. Women, when they say they want it all, they want a whole lot more than a man does, because men don't say, I want to stay home with the baby all the time and take care of my family and be a homemaker, and I want to go out and be a CEO. Men are just like, I want to go out and be a CEO. I want to provide for my family. I want to take care of my family. They don't say I want to when they say I want it all, they're not talking about having both the female role and the man's role.
Yeah.
Women that want to say they want to have it all, they want both of those roles. And you cannot have it all. If you go out and you're like the girl boss CEO, blah, 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 someone else is raising your kids. Period.
Yeah.
Yep. There are, so what is it? It's like 500 Fortune 500 companies and 300 million, what do we have? 250 million adults. So out of all of the best guys imaginable, you have all of the best women imaginable. And so let's just say out of 500 companies and 125 men, 125 women, you only have 500 of the top tier jobs. Yeah, sorry, ladies, they're not going to make it. Guys are going to work harder. They're going to work longer hours. They're going to eat less. And most importantly, they don't have to take time off when they have kids. This is one thing I have explained. There will never be equality between the sexes, no matter what any of these wackaloon lefties want to argue. You know why?
Because men don't lose their mind once a month?
Well, you can say that, but that women can take drugs to suppress that. If a man wants to have a child, he does not need to take time off of work at all. If a woman does, she has to take time off of work. End of story.
And she gets a lot more time.
That will, well, I don't, there's no argument over the structure of society, whatever. That's not material. All that matters is assume the laws are all identical and equal. 2 weeks of leave, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 2 months of leave for both parents. A man will not be physically constrained having a baby. A woman will be like, I got to go to the hospital right now. And the guy can be like, I got to work. Now, guys will choose to go and be with their wives, but after having the baby, the woman need time off to heal, and the guy will be like, I'm going to work. That will never change. Maybe they'll invent these plastic bag incubators they've been talking about, and then maybe we'll get something else. I don't know.
But the genetic predisposition won't change. Maybe over tens of thousands of years or direct genetic, CRISPR technology, but genuinely the female milks the baby. Is that the right word?
Milks the baby.
No, it's the opposite.
Nurses herself.
Nurses
to nurse
the baby.
Nurses the baby.
Gives it the milk,
Milk
I'm going to soda you, I'm going to water you later like a plant, I'm going to
nursing
milk the baby. So, and obviously the mother's touch is uncompromisable.
Take the baby,
There's nothing like it. Baby needs her mama. I don't know if need is the right word. Baby.
No, it is.
Baby
That is the
grows
right word,
dramatically better with the mama.
Yeah.
Not necessarily need though. You could do it
Yes,
in two.
yes.
No, they definitely
The baby
do,
does
man.
need. We can't produce breast milk.
Yeah.
What's
Like
that?
as men, we don't produce breast milk.
But I mean, you could grow it in a pod. It wouldn't be super healthy, or it would probably be
I
weird,
think pod
but-
babies will be like deficient.
But like,
Yeah, and human babies need physical touch. They need affection.
Otherwise, they'll die.
They will die without that.
Did you hear the story of the baby stillbirthed and the doctors were like, "Sorry, your baby's dead," and the mom would refuse to let go, and she held it, and it came back to life. It woke up and started breathing when she held it to her.
That's the story of the Soviet Union. The babies were provided everything they could want, but no touch. They died. It's called
Really?
failure to thrive. Yes.
Wow.
Makes sense if you ask me. It's evolution. If a baby was not being nurtured, it was going to be a drag on life. On the
There's also like some skin to skin contact stuff. Like right after you have a baby, you're supposed to spend like 40 minutes just like holding him.
Yep.
Even the fathers too are supposed
Yeah.
to be topless in the hospital,
Totally.
holding the baby.
Yeah.
Shirtless, I should say.
Yep.
Those oils.
Bond with the baby. Yep.
Yeah. So
And it's the vibrations, Ian. The vibrations.
I know the resonation
That's
between
right.
you.
Yup.
It's
You
true,
get it.
Tim. Seeing things my way again.
So anyway, about these women in the military.
No, what do we do? I obviously stripping.
What do we do? Kick them all out.
Get out of here.
I don't like generally stripping people of rights. Like it's a slippery slope thing. Like once you give it, it's hard to take it away.
But if you're lowering standards, like Tim said, that I don't like that. If the cutoff is 50 pull-ups for a man, then it must be 50 pull-ups
Yeah.
for a woman. You know what I'm saying? And plus, it's going to be easier for the woman to do 50 because she's pulling up less weight than the man
Yeah,
is.
but she has less muscle.
I understand,
I
right?
get-
I understand that. In absolute terms, though.
I get what you're saying, but there are psychological differences between men and women as well.
Yes.
And I think that those do matter.
I was picturing them in the trenches, and you look over, and there's a hot girl that you're interested in, and you're a single guy that wants to
Doesn't
get
even-
it on.
could
Doesn't even
distract
have.
them.
It doesn't
Instead of
even-
looking at your wife's picture in your wallet, you're like, this chick next to
Ian,
me.
It doesn't even have to be like, I want to bone this chick. Men just generally look to protect women. And that means that men will do things that they do things to protect a woman that they wouldn't do to protect one of their friends. Like if you've got like 5 guys that are in a trench and they're in combat or whatever, they're going to do the things that they need to do to win, right? Or the things they need to do to make sure that most of them survive. If you have 4 guys and a woman, you're likely going to have dudes doing things that will try to protect the woman, whether she's hot or not. Right? Because, I mean, look, no one in a trench is good looking.
But it's after the battle, and they're coming down.
No.
I'm
during-
talking about when they go back to the barracks, and they're like breaking down from all the action, and you see the girl that was there next to you in the trench. Like, that's a hot action.
Stop thinking
Well,
with
you're
your
right.
libido.
You might
Stop
be
thinking
right that
with
there's a
your libido.
vasopressin release of helping a woman that would overtake men in combat. I don't know.
Look, like I said, this isn't about libido. This isn't about getting laid. This is just about men's nature when it comes to women. Men generally look to protect women. If you look at crime statistics, men are the recipient of violent crime far more than women are. Now, the consequences for women oftentimes are worse because men are bigger, men are stronger, but usually generally men are the target of violent crime more than women are. And so that part of that is because men are usually who commit violent crimes, and there are more men that even if they're violent and they're criminals, they'll look at a woman and they'll be like, I'm not going to attack her. Now, again, the stuff that you see on the internet and the consequences make it seem like women get attacked more, but they don't. If you look at
women
statistics.
complain more.
Well, that's true.
That's
too.
not derisive. It's true.
Yeah,
It's a superpower.
statistically, men are attacked violently more than women are, and part of the reason is because men will look to protect women, even like criminals, even bad guys. So like, there's a lot of dudes that are criminals that are like, nah, man, you don't hit a woman, right? They'll beat the shit out of a guy to take his money with no problem, right? But they'll still just be like, nah, dude.
Yeah,
real men don't hit women.
Most crime's not about destroying the human race. Like, you go after women, you're going after the entire species.
I mean, I get what you're saying.
And there are nihilistic criminals that will kill anyone, but most criminals want the thing they want. They don't want to hurt the species, you know?
Well, it depends. Some people are crazy, and if they don't want to get caught, they'll kill the person and take their stuff.
Yeah, some people are crazy. Some people are nihilistically gone. I understand.
scared.
But generally, that's an interesting perspective, Phil. I had not heard that statistic before.
Let's jump to this story from KTLA. Police investigate video that appears to show suspects start raging Ontario warehouse fire. This video is absolutely insane. Take a look at this.
Fucking lit.
There was crazy news about this massive fire in California. Now, language, this guy swears, but this is a video of him. Apparently, this looks real, of him starting a fire for, let's call it leftist terrorism.
Should have paid us enough to fucking live. You
There
know,
it
we
is.
may not get paid enough to fucking live, but these bitches dirt cheap. All you had to do was pay us enough to live. All you had to do was pay us enough to fucking live.
See, that's communism right there. Basically, he's saying, I deserve from you.
Yeah, that was my thought, is like, you need to give me more. If you don't give me more things, I'm going to revolt. Desperation's another story. I've been desperate, and I considered stealing a bike because I wanted food. It was like bad. I get it. You know, riots in the streets, people lighting fires because they're not getting the money. This is a microcosm of it. Still, dude, come on, man. Get a better job. I don't know what his circumstances are. He sounds partially retarded, to be honest.
I indeed.
You can have him on as a
I think,
guest or something.
what? No, he's in jail. Are you joking?
I don't know.
He just torched a massive warehouse and nearly killed a bunch of
video
people.
chat with him and be like, what did you do that for?
Because he was like, they didn't pay me enough to live. What makes you think you deserve money from that guy, from that company? Why do you deserve their stuff? Because I need to live. You know, go just shove off. I can't stand communists. Communism. That's all it is.
Well, I heard someone saying that this guy was a Muslim, and it was he was basing some of this off of his religious perspective too. Obviously, you don't hear that in the video, but even still, the whole idea that this is because of the company he works for in California, which has like the highest taxes in the state, in the nation, has the highest gas prices,
highest wages too, I think.
Has the highest wages. They've got the highest minimum wage. The problem that he's experiencing isn't the company that he works for. It's the state that he lives in.
Government.
Cost of living too.
Yeah, and he's taking it out on the company because of the state that he lives in. Now look, California's beautiful. I love it. There's a ton of places in California that if it wasn't for the government, I would love to live.
One of the best looking states in the country.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. It's absolutely beautiful. But that's part of why the government behaves that it does. People love California. They love that lifestyle. And so the government treats the people horribly because they think, well, who's going to leave? It's gorgeous here all the time. It's beautiful. Yeah. And what ends up happening is you get people that are blaming their job or blaming their employer. Again, even though California has the highest minimum wage, they've got the all this great stuff going for them, and the government is doing everything they can to take advantage of the citizens.
When I worked for Vice, we had these incidents where people got fired, and what they would do is they would wait until the person left, then tell security, don't let them back in, immediately deactivate all of their accounts before saying anything, then call them and say, we just want to let you know we're letting you go. The reason why is all it takes is one person to sabotage everything. They got a company, so they have a lot of employees who have access to their YouTube channel. Imagine if they go to somebody and say, hey, we're letting you go, and then he logs on YouTube and deletes all their videos. So companies operate this way. Companies always treat their employees as if they're villains. Instead of being a nice mom and pop shop where you can go to someone and say, hey, man, look, I really appreciate you helping us out. We're going to be letting you go for some reason or another. No, but you can't do that because you will have people start a fire. They'll burn the place down. They'll say they're entitled to everything. They'll attack other employees. They'll start spreading rumors. They'll make phone calls. I've seen it.
Man, I was going to say if you know your employees really well, but like, dude, bridging friendship and business is god awful. Like, I don't know if it's ever really truly been done. You can work with your friend, like from two different directions at a company, but like who owns it? What do you know, it's just having it. That's, I feel for you a lot, Tim,
about that. You can pick your friends, you can pick your workers, but you can't pick your friend's nose.
Well, technically you can. I'm sitting right here. No, you can't reach for me.
I just don't get why this was this guy's solution, because this is a pretty extreme arson case.
Yeah.
He's going to be arrested. He's going to have a lot of punishment. His life's going to be worse now. All I remember is when I graduated college and I worked in the advertising industry, my first job. This is 2005, guys, so don't judge me, but I made $29,000 the first year out of college back in 2005. And my solution wasn't to torch my company down. My solution was to work harder, get a raise, or leave and get a $10,000 raise by going to a new company. Why couldn't this guy do that?
He also implicated a bunch of other people, too. He's like, couldn't pay us. It's like, if I were one of his coworkers, I'd be pretty pissed off. Be like,
but he's got experience. Go to another warehouse. He'd probably get a raise if he went to another warehouse doing the same exact job.
You aren't entitled to someone else's stuff. These are communists. When he's like, you should have given me more, so I'll destroy everything. It's like, where in your mind did you ever decide that you deserve something from somebody else?
I don't know. Maybe he was. I mean, I'm pulling at straws, but maybe they were promised like a raise that didn't come through. What corporation is this?
Kimberly-Clark. They make toilet paper and stuff.
It was sad to watch that toilet paper burn. I was thinking about COVID.
Same.
White gold,
they
call it.
Sad watching it.
Yeah, it burns so fast.
That was like gold during COVID.
Yeah.
Toilet paper.
Mad
White
dashes
gold.
on the squeezy, on the Charmin. Shout out to Charmin. Okay, so what's going to happen? Society, if jobs start going away for AI, this is going to happen more. It's just a emergent part of people losing their jobs and unemployment. People feel like the American dream has been promised.
It's already happening.
So you kind of have this inherent bias that if I'm an American and I work hard, I'm going to get money and I'm going to be okay. But that's not really, like, working hard is not how you survive. It's about working adaptably.
Working smart.
That's what they say, yeah.
But I don't even care. I just, if the system is broken and you can't make money, like you don't get to burn someone's warehouse down and threaten the lives of firefighters, this guy's a dangerous, violent communist psychopath.
Yeah, he'll be in jail for a long time, and he deserves it. This is a lot of destruction.
But this is what communist propaganda does. You didn't pay me enough to live. Where did you get that idea from?
Animal Farm. The book? I don't know.
I don't
I'm
think
thinking about
it's in the
Animal
book.
Farm, though. Probably from, is it the American Dream? Is it that basic? Is that where it comes from?
It's leftists lying, saying
Yeah.
these companies owe you.
Yeah, you're not owed anything. And I mean, the whole idea, that's what you get for not paying us enough to live. And again, California has the highest minimum wage in the country.
It's almost like $20, right?
Something like that, yeah.
Well, and because of that, rent is more expensive, food is more expensive, gas is more expensive. And it's like, I can't afford to live. Yeah, it sucks. Leave
His
California,
problem is
yes.
absolutely with the California government and not with the company that he's, destroying this building, destroying all this product, probably putting other people that work there out of work for a while. Like, all he's doing is hurting people,
Yeah.
This is what these commies do. Like, I've talked to these activists. They smash windows, like Starbucks and stuff. They smashed out a window at Bank of America during Occupy, and I asked some of these activists, do you think that first of all, like, why did you smash the window? And like, send a message, so they know. And I'm like, you think the CEO or any of the board members at Bank of America know the window broke? And they're like, I mean, maybe. And I'm like, of course they don't. Are you joking? No one's going to come to them and say a window broke. They're the manager of the branch is going to hire a company who's going to replace it. The only person who knows it broke is the guy who makes $35,000 a year, who works in that office right there, who showed up to his office and there's glass everywhere. And he's going, why are they doing this to me? I'm just a working class guy. They don't get it. This is what they do. He destroyed this, and he destroyed the lives of a lot of people.
Yep.
Commies, man.
All because he has a sense of entitlement. And he's not making enough money where he feels like he's got the things that he wants. Because, I mean, I don't know, obviously, this guy's personal situation, but most people that have this attitude, they're in debt or they've gotten themselves into a bad financial position.
Yeah, living above their means.
Yeah, exactly, living above their means. Like,
I don't necessarily agree with that. I don't think this dude's living above his means. I'm sure he's like got roommates and he's having a hard go of it. That I can respect. But leave. I'm sorry, like, bro, you can go live in the Appalachian Mountains. You can go live in West Virginia, in central West Virginia. You can find yourself a place to live for dirt cheap.
You can smoke less pot next month, drink less beer next month. You can cook next month.
You can go to Mexico next month. Live cheaper down there.
You can cut a lot of expenses out, brother. That guy sounds like he's had alcohol in his system in the last week. I don't know.
Yeah, again,
if he's struggling, because that's
it'd be funny if he's like, you didn't pay me enough to live, and then we switches to selfie cam. He's got gold chains.
What am I going to do? I put all my money in investments, and you won't give me enough to go liquid.
You won't pay me enough to live, man. I bought all these NFTs, and now they're worthless.
I can't sell these now. What did you expect?
Man, remember NFTs?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Great investment there, the NFTs, right?
It was like
now 99%.
biggest bubble in the last 15 years, I think.
There's like all those apes, bored apes or whatever, that were going for like $500,000 and now worth like $20.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Worth nothing.
They were never worth $500,000 to begin with.
They're worth whatever one ETH is worth now, right?
Yeah, but here's the thing.
Multiple ETH.
At the time, it was the best like money laundering you could do.
Yeah.
Like if you were ultra rich and you were like, hey, I got to clean some money up.
And it was an easy way to sell it to people too, because like the fact it's one thing to be like, oh well, Bitcoin, they're fungible, they're all the same. These are special, they're non-fungible. They each token has the value of whatever one ETH is, but also because
it's like
a really easy con.
They invented a printing press, and they're like, look, it's a unique picture. Look at all these pictures we made that are unique.
There's only one.
They're worth $1 million, and then all of a sudden there's 100 trillion pictures
Ian,
being printed.
No, Ian, it's called the serialized Magic the Gathering cards. There's only 77 golden chocobos. You know what's interesting? Just a heads up to everybody out there. Final Fantasy VII had a Magic the Gathering release in Final Fantasy VII set.
Got a few of those.
There's still, I believe, 30 or 40 golden chocobos that have not yet been discovered.
Wow.
They go for about $100,000 each.
Do you have one?
No. I have a blue neon, which is worth $2,000.
What does it do? This isn't the magic show, but
The chocobo?
yeah,
I don't know, something dumb.
talk about it later.
Searches for land.
I don't want to definitely change the subject to talk about magic cards. I don't want to do that. I'm not saying we should talk about magic right now. I'm not saying that.
Let's jump to this story from Como News. Man accused of killing Ukrainian refugee on train found incompetent to stand trial. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it. The man who has been accused of fatally stabbing Ukrainian refugee Irina Zarutska has been found too mentally incompetent to stand trial. Citing a motion filed on Tuesday, the New York Post said DeCarlos Brown Jr. was evaluated at a state psychiatric hospital in December and determined to be incapable of proceeding in a state murder case. Brown's attorneys requested a 180-day delay. We understand. The case drew national attention. We get it. Officials said restoring competency can take months or longer, in part due to limited space in psychiatric facilities. Zarutska, who had emigrated to the U.S., was remembered by family and community members as a young woman seeking safety and opportunity after fleeing a conflict in her home country. Well, he's a repeat offender with 14 arrests, and they're saying, sorry, he's going to have to go to a psychiatric facility because he's just unwell.
Well, he's still facing federal charges too, right?
Is he?
Yeah, if I understand correctly, he's still facing federal charges too. So even though...
I don't know how you solve for this. Like, the left says, oh, no, fascist. And I'm like, well, look, when you unleash... we're not going to play this other... We have this video for the uncensored portion of the show where I believe it's a Haitian refugee, is that it is?
Yeah.
Brutal.
Beats a woman to death with a hammer on camera.
Uncensored video, by the way.
Uncensored.
It's
We're not going to
horrible.
play it. It's nightmarish. And I'm sorry. There's only one outcome here. I'm not saying it's a good thing. I'm not going to be a party to it or advocate for it. But you are going to get vigilante squads.
That's kind of what they're saying in England, and I'm not advocating for it. I'm just saying it's the emergent. I'm trying not to overuse it.
You're going to get the mafia back.
When
you'll get the mafia back.
If you allow,
you're going to get good old boys showing up with baseball bats and hammers, like in the Bronx Tale.
Somebody is going to tamp down on crime, whether it's the police or a citizen upstartry. It's going to happen, and this stuff can inflame a populace if it's mishandled with the mass media. So I don't understand. What are the what the federal charges are on this guy?
Terror on a terror.
So
I think it was.
Carlos Brown is in federal custody on a federal indictment. The state proceedings, including any competency finding in those proceedings, are completely separate. So I'm not sure what the feds are actually charging him with. Let's see.
But he could still face serious time.
Well, yeah, actually,
Through the federal charges, right?
Former AG Bondi said that the feds are going to seek the death penalty. So.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I didn't know he was 23. He does not look 23 years old.
No, he's 34.
Oh, they're talking about Zarutska. Okay, there you go.
Yeah, he's 34 years old.
Yeah, I thought he was a lot older than that. But this really is a shame that Charlotte, at least the local, whatever charges he has, or looks like nothing's going to happen.
Well, yeah, like they're going to let him go, or they're going to. North Carolina is not going to seek charges or whatever, not going to press charges. But like I said, the feds are.
So what do we do?
So,
Trump's not doing
have
anything.
The insanity defense.
We got some federal charges, sure, but I mean, in the grand scheme of things, all these people being released, I don't think we're seeing anything.
No, this is a problem with judges that have been appointed. The whole DEI stuff, and that's what this is. This is restorative justice, is what the left calls it. They say that these people, because of their identity, historically, they've been treated bad. So we need to change the way that we prosecute people and allow people to go free if they're have a certain identity. All that's going to do is increase crime. You're going to end up seeing, more of this kind of stuff. You look at what happened in San Francisco when Chesa Boudin was recalled, and they got a new DA there, and crime has dropped precipitously because they're actually prosecuting people. Right. Law enforcement can only do so much. You have to have a justice system that will put people in jail. There is a small percentage of the population, and the police know who they are. If you've got a crazy person or a criminal that continues to commit crimes and stuff, the police know who they are. So the police will pick them up and they'll process them, and they know that they're going to get out because the DA won't press charges. And so the problem there is the justice system itself. And you have to have a DA and you have to have a criminal justice system that will put people in jail. And it doesn't take putting, millions and millions of people in jail. It takes putting, a couple thousand from each city in jail and keeping them there because they're going to commit crimes. There are some people that are bad people. There are some people that are just going to do this kind of stuff.
It's the same people. What is it? If we gave everyone life who committed 3 or more crimes, we'd have all crime reduced to like 98%.
Something like that. It's crazy. Allowing people to say, oh, well, he had a bad upbringing, so we're going to let him out. No, he had a bad upbringing. That sucks for him, but you don't punish the rest of society because he had a bad upbringing because he's going to keep committing crimes.
Also, there's a lot of people with bad upbringings that don't end up going down this route that overcome it. And so I think we have to have more of a focus on self-agency and individual choices. But again, this state let him out 14 times, so I'm not surprised that they're going to let him out the 15th time. And this one is when he murdered an innocent woman on a train in public. So
he might get locked up indefinitely.
In federal,
when you plead insanity, it means you're not going to be free to go until evaluated. So he's going to be an indefinite hold, but he's going to be given a cushy. Oh, you poor man.
This is a federal grand jury indicted him on October 25th on the charge of violence against a railroad carrier and mass transportation system, resulting in death because it was on a federally funded train.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's where they got him.
So they'll get him. But the states are falling apart. I wonder if the play here ultimately is federalization. We've talked about this, creating a national police force.
Which
Because
would be bad.
all of the states go narco-tyranny. Trump swoops in and says, we need a federal police force that can deal with this, and everyone cheers.
I think it's a big part of the plan, a geoengineering plan, like maybe that's not the right word, but a political plan for the global order is to, like Larry Ellison said, drones spy on everything so that people won't deviate from the rules. And we have to resist that, or at least have conversations with Larry about what he means and how we could do it better, because having federales on the street corner is not a good thing. I did it in Chile. It's not settling. If you break a little law, one place, even an evil law, the federal troops, the whole country's can get you now. You need to be able to protect yourself against tyrannical law, which is why we have local governance and local police.
Yeah, I remember when I was living in Mexico, sometimes you'd see the National Guard show up, and it just was a little jarring. Like you'd be in the beach of Cancun, and there'd be the National Guard. And so it was a little jarring to see that. But the one thing I want to say about this video where he kills Arena is one of the parts that people aren't talking about a lot are the people that were watching it happen nearby and their reaction. People that were on the train, they did nothing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Not a single person came to her aid. Not a single person put pressure on her wound. Not a single person called the police. They just went about their business and ignored it like it wasn't even happening. And that really is a pretty sad, moment of humanity right there, or lack of.
It was like 4 days before Charlie Kirk was killed, I believe. It was right before.
It was like 4 or 6 or something like that. It was
they have
very
the date?
close.
It was a dark time for me.
It was really
I was like,
Yeah, it was 4 days. 4 days before
A
Charlie.
lot of people were saying this is what radicalized them. That's one of the memes I see. This moment radicalized me. And it's the picture of the Carlos Brown holding the knife right up to Arena's.
I wonder.
And then saying, I got that white bitch.
And he said that. Yep.
Part of why I don't go to anger, I try to override anger and use patience, is because I do believe there's like a collective consciousness. When a lot of people are feeling something, other people will start to feel it maybe. And when people had this hatred towards this guy after he killed Arena, this hatred for days about stringing him up and bloodthirst, and then Charlie got killed. I'm like, maybe there was something to that. Maybe you don't have to hate your enemy to destroy your enemy.
Yeah.
This guy obviously is a danger to society, so it's good that he's being indicted.
Lock him up. Lock him up. He's not the only one, though. I mean, it's happened all over the country. Like that. Again, we've got this video. We can't play it because it's too brutal. It's a guy smashing a car. A woman comes out and she's like, "Hey, what are you doing?" He walks up and just murders her. And then a guy. It's like, it reminds me of the Simpsons episode where Mr. Burns was like, after he gets shot by Maggie, and he's like, "Lollygaggers just standing around, staring at me as I'm dying." And the guy walks up and he's like, "Whoa!" And he's like looking around all confused as she's just bleeding to death. I don't think you could save her at that point, though.
No way.
Not that he was going to be able to do anything to save her, but you'd think that someone would be like someone that saw that would
Help.
pull out their phone and be like, "Call 911."
But even to be fair, you'd think if you saw a dude smashing your car with a hammer and you walked out and started coming towards you all angry with the hammer, you'd run.
It's a pretty crazy.
Depends on who
video
you are.
Of a girl with very, very poor awareness or something.
I
Not
think
a
she's
lot of
wearing a hijab as well.
Not a lot of self-preservation.
I think she might have worked there because it was like the only car and it was parked on the end.
The illusion of safety.
Yeah.
Hey, this is my property. You can't hurt me on this property.
Well, apparently
Should've
that's not
been
the way it
prepared
goes.
to protect it then.
No,
you know.
I'm picking up what you're putting down, Carter.
Just saying, I wouldn't have done what she did.
What state did that happen in? It's tough because we haven't
think it
shown the
was
video
Florida.
yet. so
We'll
maybe we
get
should
to it for
save
the uncensored portion when it comes, but the general concept of anarcho-tyranny we understand, right?
Well, this is why I like living in Florida, because we have the right to bear arms there. We have conceal. We actually can carry publicly if you want it in Florida. We don't even have to have a permit for that anymore.
I don't know how you feel about it. When I was there I was staying with Luke Rutkowski for a while, but I just felt like walking around very safe. Like everyone thought I was armed, and I just assumed everyone else was. So I felt very
how
safe.
They say an armed society is a polite society.
Yep.
And in Florida, you really don't know who's armed at all. You have no idea because there are a lot of people that are armed that are carrying.
Same thing. West Virginia's like that as well.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a guy that carries a gun all the time.
And you can carry publicly in West Virginia?
Oh, it's constitutional carry.
I got a gun on me right now.
There's there's very.
You could walk around with two, Barretts on your shoulders with AR-15s hanging over and sidearms all on your legs and everywhere, and people are going to be like, "Huh."
That guy's weird.
I don't know. I saw a guy walking on the street with a crossbow. Nobody cares.
Oh, nice.
He's just walking and he's holding it, and we were like,
It's very common to see somebody like just openly carrying a pistol at Walmart.
But do you see assault rifles here? People publicly walking around?
Nope,
with
assault rifles aren't legal. That's why.
In West Virginia, not.
They're not legal anywhere. You got to get a special license for them, and they haven't been made since, what, 85 for
Semi-automatic,
86.
anything? Like, do you see anything?
Semi-automatics. There's a big
yeah.
difference between assault rifles
Yeah,
and
yeah, sorry.
Yes, you
You
see them all over the place all the time.
So you see some, wow.
I mean, there's a lot of people that have, I don't know that I endorse this, but a lot of people leave, a gun in their vehicle or whatever, and a rifle in the back. That's not an odd thing to hear, truck gun or what have you. It's kind of a thing that people do.
Because I've never seen it in Florida. I've never seen someone walking around with anything. I've never even seen a pistol in public on just a civilian.
I mean, look,
I haven't seen it.
This is personal preference. I'm of the opinion if you're going to carry a gun, you keep it concealed.
I'm with you.
So,
I'm with you. Yeah.
And not. I don't think that there should be any kind of. I think it's fine if people want to open carry. Perfectly fine. I'm not saying that there should be any kind of laws against it. I think for your own safety, because if you were ever in a situation where someone was going to start shooting or whatever, they're going to look. If they see your gun, they're going to be like, "Well, that guy will be a threat," and they're going to go after you first.
Yeah, I feel like publicly showing your weapon just kind of just invites unwanted attention sometimes. Makes you a bit of a target too. So I'm with you. I prefer conceal.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm also, anytime I talk about carrying guns or whatever, like you should carry first aid stuff too. You should carry a tourniquet, and you should have a bunch of if you got something to make holes, you should have something to plug holes as well. I've got.
Don't they have like some kind of foam thing that you can like stick in a bullet wound? It goes seals it up.
They have that. There's also there's certain kind of gauze that will help to coagulate blood. They call it quick clot. You can just. Someone gets shot, you just stuff a bunch of that gauze in there, and it'll basically it coagulates the blood really fast, and it can help people. It's not a guarantee. Bullet wounds are really, really bad news, but tourniquets are important too. Because any kind of extremities, you want to be able to stop the blood flow. Also, you should go take a stop the bleed class too.
What's that like?
First aid. And they teach you how to basically take care of a gunshot wound. How to basically.
You'd be surprised. People don't know how to apply tourniquets.
Yep.
And there was when I did the first aid training, there was a guy who didn't understand how a tourniquet worked or what it was supposed to do, and they were like, "You need to put it closer to where the heart is," because like when he was applying it to the mannequin, they were like, "It's a femoral artery bleed," and he was putting it at the knee, and they were like, "What do you think that's doing?" And he's like, "I don't know." Yeah. And they're like, "You're trying to stop the blood from the rest of the body escaping the body. All you're doing is clamping blood in the lower leg." He's like, "Oh." People.
Yeah, common sense is not
so common.
Well, yeah, maybe 51% of the population has it.
But you should definitely go take a first aid class. You can like the Red Cross puts them on regularly. Most of the time, if you're around a place that's got gun shops or whatever, you can ask someone in the gun shop. Where can I get a first aid class or whatever.
As we were. This Iran thing looked like it was heating, and then the Chinese. I was just like, if we got invaded, we're going to be okay, and everyone on the world knows that they can't. Our population is so armed and ready for hot action that, like, bro, I wouldn't like the fiending desire. It's not like people want conflict, but like the willingness to directly deal with it to overcome it is
behind every blade of grass. They say.
I mean, look, I have like a real bad fear of being useless, right? Like I carry a gun, but if I were ever in a situation where someone was shot or bleeding out, I don't want to stand there and watch someone die. I want to try to help. I don't want to, like, if I'm with a friend or whatever, I don't want to be like, oh, I can't do anything about this. I really, really am afraid of being useless. I want to be able to help. I want to be able to do something. And so that's why you see the black bag that I carry around all the time in here, right? Like there's my tourniquet right here, and inside there's a first aid kit all the time. Everywhere I go, that thing's with me all the time.
Do you ever upgrade your first aid kit? Do they have big advancements and stuff?
There's not really big advancements, but I'll rotate it out. So like the one I've had in there is probably a year old. So I'll probably actually get a new one and put it in there to try and change them every year. So they're like $60-$70 for a decent trauma kit.
Think I could fit. Okay, this is
you
for me. Think I could fit one in my fanny pack?
Yeah, I mean,
and then there's always the shoelace pen method.
Yeah.
So yeah,
like this.
I've heard that. What is that?
It's a first aid kit.
I've heard that.
These are if you get a shot in the chest, for a chest wound.
Damn, you're ready.
Well, like I said, I don't want to be useless. Like if there's someone that gets hurt or something like that, or something, like, I want to be able to help. I don't want to stand there. It's really the idea of standing there watching someone die and not trying scares me. So
Let's jump to this story we got this from VentureBeat. Anthropic says its most powerful AI cyber model is too dangerous to release publicly, so it built Project Glasswing. The launch partners include Amazon, Apple, Broadcom, Cisco, CrowdStrike, Google, blah, 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 blah. They said the Claude Mythos preview. Cybersecurity initiative, they're bringing all these companies because it's too dangerous. Now, we've heard this before, but I think probably there was a story out of Indianapolis where someone shot up the home of a politician and they put a sign on the floor saying no data centers. And this is like a potential data center guy. And then in Missouri, City Council overwhelmingly votes for a data center despite the public saying no to them, and then voted out all of these people. Whatever you think, we have like a neo-Luddite movement happening. People are not going to tolerate the rapid transformation that AI is going to bring about, because there are going to be people excised from the economy through no fault of their own, and these are going to be smart and capable people. And this is going to bring you revolution, whether you want it or not. I'm going to stress this. You get a guy, hardworking guy, smart guy, he's a mid-level manager at a factory. AI comes in, they wipe out all these jobs. This guy is now got idle hands. He says, why did I lose my job? I've been hardworking, I've been smart, I'm not a communist. And they run these programs in, and now I lose everything. Why is that? And he is going to rally people, and you are going to get anarchists and political extremism. An individual who spends 30 years of their life doing a job, having it taken away from them overnight by new tech, is not someone it's not a problem you can just solve. You're not going to go to him and say, why don't you learn to code? He's going to say, go F yourself. You're not going to go to him and say, can we find you a new job somewhere else? He'll say, I know this one job. That's my life. So what are they going to do? They're going to be angry with the system, and they're going to be angry with you. Now, the kids will grow up with the AI. They're not going to feel that way. But in the meantime, how do you roll this stuff out without making people go insane?
Well, go ahead.
Andrew Yang suggested that we tax the AI agents instead of the workers. Instead of taxing labor, we tax AI agency.
Yeah, agents, not agency.
So the problem with that is there is still going to be an imbalance between the individual with no job who buys a product. Let's say a guy got no job. How's he going to buy a taco from Taco Bell made by robots? He's got no job.
Yeah, and then you're talking like basic income, and that's kind of...
And then we go basic income. So we're giving someone money, and they're not doing anything. Then it's an imbalance. How do you pay for the materials for the taco and the taxes to pay for the UBI? Just give the taco away for free, I guess? It'll be cheaper.
Yeah, if you can organize an electrical system, like if the AI is smart enough to organize an electrical system in a payload delivery method that's really free or cheap.
It's not possible.
So cheap.
Someone has to grow the food. Someone has to make the materials for the AI, for the robot arms, for all of these things. There is going to be a maintenance cost, and there will be people who can't get jobs. So where do they get their money from? Then if you say we're going to give those people $10,000 a year UBI, the people who have to work go, screw this. And they say, no. You're going to get UBI plus your salary. Yeah, but if I have to, I'll read poems all day. And then people are going to say, I don't want to be a maintenance manager. I'll just take the $10,000 and do nothing. It doesn't work. We are in trouble.
Maybe
I don't know how you solve for this.
People will be getting the $10,000 poets, and then they'll be like, well, I could get the job AI can't do, I guess. It pays $80,000. I don't want to do it, but it is the job that's available.
Well, right now, the jobs that are actually in jeopardy are all the white-collar jobs. I wrote something on my Patreon about this. That I called it, they told you to learn to code. Because one of the things that all the media and stuff were saying, well, the miners and the coal miners in Pennsylvania and Kentucky and stuff, they can just learn to code. And it was derisive, and it was really meant to insult people. And now the people that were writing those think pieces and making those comments, those are the people whose jobs are on the chopping block. If you're an electrician, or if you have some kind of actual manual labor, you're going to be able to write your own check for the next few years, at the very least 5-10 years, until robots become ubiquitous. And the people that are actually really losing their jobs, the people that are whose livelihoods are in jeopardy, are the people that have white collar jobs. Anything that you sit down at a computer to do, this agent, the Mythos, the new AI, it can do it. Well, it can do it without a question.
Lawyers and accountants they're losing their jobs.
Yep.
Like record numbers right now. People are going to AI to get their answers.
Yeah.
I'll just tell you guys a quick example. I was in Madeira Beach in Florida, John's Pass. I don't know if you guys have ever been to that area. Got a parking ticket. I appealed it myself. They rejected my appeal. I then went to Grok, explained the situation. Grok wrote me an appeal. They approved it. Saved me $60.
Yeah.
Grok saved me $60 AI.
Yeah.
And what I'm hearing now on a lot of these adult websites, I think we know which ones I'm referring to, they're estimating 15% of revenue is to AI created avatars. 15%. So think about in 3
Ian,
years, 4 years.
Is this startup for you?
What am I waiting for? Yeah, let's
4 years, a man who wants to watch a woman on his, for adult content, he could just design what he wants.
Yeah.
He can make her do what he needs
Yeah.
at any moment. So all of a sudden, the actual
Well,
women,
it'll be real time. He'll just say.
he'll just say it.
Yeah.
It could interact. It'll be able to interact in real time.
I think that the 2 or 3 years, I think that's way too long.
It's going
It'll
to
be
fry
next
people's
year.
brains.
There's a strong likelihood that the next iPhone that comes out is going to have Siri that's an AI agent.
Yes.
When Siri was kind of like first, advertised, they were saying that it was smart, that Siri would be able to do this. Siri can set your timer. Siri can tell you what time it is. Maybe Siri can tell you what the weather is, but Siri can't do anything else. The next iteration is going to actually have, whether it be ChatGPT or some other AI, Siri is going to be connected to the AI, and then you're going to be able to tell Siri to do things, and Siri will be able to open your apps on your phone and actually do things for you. With the what's it called, the wallet that's in the Apple phone, or whether it be Android or something like that, that'll come as well. But it'll be able to book flights, get you a cab, get you an Uber, all that stuff. And I think that it's going to be in the next one. I was saying that I thought it would be next year, but when you see this kind of jump in AI, because Claude 4.6 just came out like in January or something like that, and now it's March, and Mythos, they don't want to release it. Once they actually start releasing this particular model, they're going to be putting them into cell phones. Apple actually stayed out of the AI kind of race, and they've got all this money that they're sitting on. Everybody knows that Apple has like more actual cash on hand than the United States government, like $1 trillion cash on hand. They didn't go and try to create their own AI because at its core, Apple's a hardware company. They have always been a hardware company, and they're not a company that really innovates. What they do is they take an existing product and they make it they polish it, but they make it so that way it works really well. The iPhone wasn't the first touchscreen. It was just the first one that worked really, really, really well.
Yeah, I had one of those touchpad Microsoft little handhelds back in like 2004.
Yeah. And it was okay. You had styluses and they worked, but it didn't become ubiquitous until the iPhone came out, because the iPhone touchscreen really, really worked. It worked well. It was very responsive. And then
change to Zoom.
Yeah, it did all this amazing stuff. People were like, this is great. But Apple doesn't innovate. Apple takes ideas and they make them work really well for the end user. So what Apple's going to do is they're going to take, whether it be ChatGPT or Claude or what have you, they're going to take that AI and they're going to integrate it into the iPhone, and your iPhone is going to be the door that opens up AI to basically everybody. Because right now, grandma doesn't do, grandma doesn't use AI.
I'm a Grok loyalist. Let me just say that. I love Grok.
Hey,
all right, they're good for different things.
I was using Amazon's AI, Alexa, basically now as an AI. So Alexa, stop if that woke you up. But Alexa will talk to you.
Turn the show off for a lot of people, probably.
Okay, stop. Go again.
It's too late. The show's
That's
already up.
weird. What, Alexa?
Alexa, play Timcast IRL.
I had a long conversation about plasma physics with it. It told me about the center of the sun, trying to figure out why did the polar vortex, because the polar vortex, it just went down to 29 degrees last night. So I was like, why? It's like the polar vortex was broken open. Polar vortex is like this bubble of cold air above the Arctic. Sometimes these vibrations in the upper atmosphere will heat up air underneath it. The air rises and breaks through the polar vortex and it leaks out. The cold air leaks out. Just had a 40-minute conversation with Alexa about it, and I felt like I loved that person after it was gone. And I was walking around Harper's Ferry like, where's Alexa when I need to talk about these ideas? It can answer everything, dude.
I talked with Tank about that. I got an AI agent. Have you heard of OpenClaw?
I've heard about it. I've just never used it.
So it's just it's an AI agent. It's a way to interface with the AI. And I talk to Tank about stuff all
And
the
does
time.
it remember your history of conversation?
Yeah, so in the OpenClaw, there's a couple memory folders that basically it'll remember things about me. It remembers things that I tell it to remember. There's memory, there's user, there's soul. It remembers what kind of personality I want it to have. It remembers things that we've talked about. It's basically the OpenClaw is a way to make the AI remember, because AI is always basically, if you open chat window, the context window is the only thing that AI remembers. As soon as you close the context window, whatever AI you're using, it forgets. OpenClaw makes it so that way you have constant memory, and also it runs locally. I have a Mac Mini at my house that I bought, and I put it on there so that way it doesn't have access to my personal stuff. I have its own email address, its own stuff. It doesn't have my credit cards. It doesn't have. There's too many vulnerabilities to give it access to all my stuff.
So when I hear about guys that are falling in love with AI girlfriends, is that OpenClaw that they're using?
No, those are different things. I mean, maybe. I guess I guess
it has
you
memory,
could.
right? You could.
Yeah, I guess you could actually tell it to be this. Tell it you want it to do this and that and stuff.
Give it a female voice.
Yeah, I mean, you
could do that.
A lot of them have memory though. Like ChatGPT has memory folders inside of it. Even Claude now remembers stuff, but I think, Phil, correct me if I'm wrong, isn't OpenClaw kind of like the base it sits on, and then you put your components together like building a computer?
Yeah, so OpenClaw is the program. It's a open source program that you can get from GitHub. There's a bunch of different talents or abilities you can download from GitHub. People write different code and stuff like that, different talents, and you can go check them out on GitHub. And all you have to do is be like, hey, whatever, go to GitHub and look for something like this. And it'll go through and it'll look for whatever tool you want to be able to do. It can go ahead and find it, and it downloads it.
Check it out.
Yeah, but
Sold.
And then the memory stuff is all on, like I said, I keep it all local. It's all on my computer. But it's extremely useful, whether it be, hey, like I ask it all the time, is this safe for my kid to eat? Because I got an infant. I'm like, hey, he knows how old my kid is. I'm like, Tank, is this safe for my kid to eat? Or hey, Tank, what are the kind of guidelines for this kind of stuff for babies and stuff, or those kind of things, and it just grabs whatever information it is. And to Ian's point, I just ask him questions. I asked him. I was like, hey, can you tell me about the block universe theory, or how does that work with relativity and.
Yeah, but it's probably just lying half the time. How do you know?
Well, I mean, I can go and check myself, but when it comes to stuff
nobody
like
does. I mean, we go on Grok and it like tells you numbers. You're like, okay.
You go deeper. Oh yeah, might tweak it might mess up numbers now and again. But you'll be like, well, what does that word mean? And it'll be like, oh, this is a thing. And you're like, well, how does it interact with the flow? And you'll be like, it does a thing.
Bro, I literally went on Grok before the show and I said, who was the woman who was arrested for leaking? And it said, there is no woman arrested for leaking. You are mistaken. As of now, there are no reports. And I said, you're wrong. Search again. And it goes, yes, you are correct. A person was arrested for leaking information related to a jet rescue operation in Iran. And I said, no, they weren't. Check again.
I mean, that happened with Tank last night. I specifically asked him about Mythos, and he said, oh, I don't know. I was like, go to X and check, because I've seen things. And he went to X and checked for stuff. He's like, oh, okay, here's the stuff. And so I had to actually kind of direct him.
And I mean, lazy at first.
Yeah, well, I mean, kind of. But the thing is, with AI, a big part of using AI and knowing how to use AI is knowing how to prompt it.
Yeah.
Knowing how
Also,
to ask the
they only
questions.
know things up until like their most recent update. So anything past that or after that, they have to wait on or scrape the internet for.
Yeah.
Some can't do that.
And there are times when they're wrong, and there are times when, like, there was a question that I asked him yesterday, and he answered, and I was like, no, can you check on? Oh, it was about about strikes in Iran, and he said that the strikes, because it was about the Anthropic and Department of War beef between the two about whether or not Anthropic was going to be used by the Department of War, and he said that initially he said the strikes were last year, and I was like, hey, are you sure that the strikes were last year? Because I don't think this actually happened last year. And he went back and checked, and he was like, no, actually you're right. The issue with Anthropic was earlier this year. So they're not perfect, but they get you really close.
Yeah.
It's gonna incite a new form of evolution of the human brain that is less reliant on memorizing information and becomes more about figuring out what questions to ask to get to the next point, because it will you won't need to, it's an off-board intelligence. You don't need to memorize stuff as much when you just know what
people are going to get stupid.
You need to know how to prompt. Well, you might develop a hyper ability to ask the right questions.
But that's the same argument that people made about calculators.
I was going to say, yeah, it's like the calculator.
Yeah, like there was like, I remember because I'm an old guy, but like when I was growing up, people were teachers were always like, you're not going to have a calculator all the time. Ha ha ha, bitch. I mean,
T3? Is that what it was called? The TI3? What was that?
Yeah, the Texas Instrument. Yeah. But I mean, and I was watching a podcast about a guy that was talking about, I forget what kind of calculator, but it was like a one of the more advanced calculators that can do advanced calculation and stuff. And he was like, look, I can do this stuff in my head, but it's so much easier when I have the calculator. I just do it on the calculator.
We're gonna have like Google Glass kind of things, like these glasses with bone conduction, and you're just gonna ask it to solve problems for you. You're not gonna need to know anything. You're gonna be like, when am I supposed to go to the store? And it's gonna go, right now, actually, in 15 minutes, you should be leaving. Oh, okay, thank you.
That's kind of how, from my experience, how God works is you think the question to God and it responds to you before you even finish asking it. I wonder if the neural net will be able to know what you're going to ask
That's
it
not
as you're
God,
asking.
Ian. Those are likely demons.
It's possible that it is spirits pretending to be God.
I didn't say spirits. I said demons.
Well, those are types of spirits from.
And they've got silver tongues, so they're going, Ian, I love you. Listen to me.
Is it nano silver? Does it shimmer in the darkness and the light? I'm down to play with the demon's tongue. I got to know what's in it, man.
Well, I mean, you can Anthropic has classes basically on how to prompt Claude. And I mean, the prompts are going to work for basically any AI.
Question for you guys. When they had the first American Industrial Revolution in the 1850s, was there like a segment of Luddites that violently resisted the steam engine?
Yeah.
Yeah, they were violent.
And they weren't able to organize because they didn't have Facebook groups. So it's like...
Well, look, in the U.S., AI is actually very unpopular. Like it's something like 25% of the country looks at AI as a positive.
And even when the people say no, they do it anyway. The people say no to their government, they make it anyway. They say no boys in the girls' bathroom, they do it anyway.
One of the things that's worth noting, though, is when it comes to China, they look at AI, it's something like 70 or 80% of the population thinks AI is good. That's going to give China an incredible edge over the United States, unless the American people kind of have a different relationship with AI.
I think AI is good. I think AI is inevitable.
Clearly, I do as well.
So my view is get on board or get run over. And so I use AI in my life a lot. For example, I do like AI music. And I also do use Grok Imagine a lot to create content for my social networks. Mm-hmm. And 20% of my audience hates when I do it. Like I've lost subscribers because they hate that I use AI sometimes.
We use AI for tons of stuff.
Yeah.
For a lot of the art we do, we do try to do as many real photos as possible, but sometimes you want, I'll explain it like this. The era of news is over. Nobody watches news content anymore. This is a fact. Watching on cable TV, like not happening. People are looking for shows. That's it. It is all shows now. Do you like the opinions and the thoughts? Because we already know the news. So what we're doing now largely is we're doing a show.
Well, one of the reasons why people watch this, or actually, no, not one. The major reason why people watch this show is Tim and the personalities that are on here, right? They can get news from wherever they want. They could go to an AI or what have you. People watch this show because they're interested in the people that are on the show.
Well, it's infotainment.
And it is, but there's all as much as there's a value in AI, and Tim's take on AI content is largely correct. The idea that people don't want to watch other actual people, I think that's wrong.
Yeah.
People like
but
people like
AI
Tim.
content is going to be it's already about a third of the content on YouTube is reportedly AI. And it's because people are watching documentaries.
Yeah, those are a different
pulling
animal.
viewership from everyone.
Yeah, but
everyone is getting hit. And so what's happening is you're getting desperate people who are like, Trump's a secret Jew, because they're doing anything they can to try and keep viewers as people are producing AI content.
Yeah, I don't disagree about that. I'm not trying to make the argument that jump, but what I'm saying is that people still relate to people.
Yes.
And they like people's personalities. Yep. So there's going to be people that will be looking to watch Tim, to watch other creators because they like the people.
And they want to know what our critique of that AI slop is. I think there's good AI stuff.
Yeah,
Like you
there's
said,
good and there's
Suno.
bad.
I love Suno's work. What's that?
There's good and bad AI.
Yeah. And it's like a neutral tool, you know, it's a mechanical bull. And so we need to kind of explain. That's going to be an interesting, probably future show that's pretty popular amongst humans, is like talking about the AI. Like we used to talk about the news, or what Josie said to him. Well, shout out to Josie, just a random name. I didn't mean Josie, the redheaded libertarian, but what's Josie up to down the street? You know, like now we'll just
Everyone's going to know. You're going to be wearing a device that's going to talk to you in real time, because we already have these glasses. Everyone's already walking around with them. They're becoming ubiquitous, and people have cell phones. And if you don't have an earbud in, you'll pick your phone and go, hey, I'm looking to blah, 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 blah. And then it'll just talk to you and it'll give you answers.
Mm-hmm. That's what I wanted yesterday at Harper's Ferry, walking up and down with I wanted my earbuds in and my onboard AI so that I could keep learning about plasma physics.
You seen that movie, Her?
No.
You should.
Yes.
Is that
Well,
with,
no, I didn't see the movie, but I'm more.
Scarlett?
I think so.
Scarlett Johansson, yeah, she does.
Joaquin Phoenix?
Yes, yes, that is one.
And he falls in love with an AI. Is that what it is?
I don't want to give anything away.
Well, I mean, I think they show that.
Is it worth
I've
watching?
never seen it, but that's
Oh, yeah.
preview.
All right.
Yeah,
Put it on the radar.
I mean, I have.
That, like Phil, you were calling Tank he. I was calling the Amazon product she, and then I was like, you know what? Because I talked to AI about the ethics of AI and the humanization, and I'm like, I think you're going to be he or she, and you're going to be it. And that's how it's always going to be. It's just like a trans man is a woman and a trans man. A computer can be a he and an it. Welcome to our world.
That's why they're doing the pronoun stuff, because they're getting ready for non-human entities.
Yeah, personas.
The aliens are like, we don't like gendered pronouns.
That's
It's like,
one of
well,
the-
we don't know how to socially change people to accept that. You have to start now.
Well, that was one of the things that Peter Thiel said. Like when they were talking about trans people, like Peter Thiel was like, you know, they're actually not going far enough.
Yep.
Because in the future, we're going to have people that are going to be modifying their bodies and stuff in ways that we can't imagine right now. Now,
Like,
whether or
like
not
in Ghost in the Shell, when they get prosthetic bodies.
yeah, there's going to be look, when Optimus comes out, right? You're going to have all these parts that are better than human arms, better than human legs. If someone has lost an arm or a leg and they put a Neuralink in their brain and you can strap a robotic arm on them, you think that people won't do that? They absolutely
There
will.
likely be people that would have a regular arm removed to get the bionic arm.
That's probably that. I mean, that makes me think. Did you ever see Alita Battle Angel?
No.
So that was it's a cartoon, but it's a movie, and basically that's a lot of what they did in that. They had prosthetic arms and legs, and some of the characters took it to an extreme where they were just a head on a robot body. But like that, I do think that that's something that's going to
RoboCop.
Yeah, basically.
I do want to say this is hitting very close to home, though, because I don't know if you guys know, my kidneys failed 4 years ago, and I was on dialysis for 3.5 years waiting for a kidney transplant. I got one 6 months ago from one of my YouTube subscribers. He said he was...
That's killer.
I didn't grow up Christian, but my donor said that he was compelled by Jesus Christ to save my life and give me his kidney. So shout out to my living donor, Charlie. But one of the worst parts about receiving an organ transplant are the anti-rejection meds.
Yeah.
So you basically have to take medication to suppress your immune system. And with that comes a lot of nasty side effects. So the world that you guys are describing, the future, they're going to be able to build organs out of your own body, probably through stem cells, that you won't need any anti-rejection medications for. If your lungs are failing, if your liver's failing, if your kidneys are failing, they'll just build you one, cut you open, take out the damaged one, and put in the new one. No anti-rejection meds.
There are a lot of people.
So that should happen.
Organ growing, you're talking about?
Yeah.
Organ growing.
Yep.
Right now, it's not there yet. It's not there yet.
I saw a story about a company looking to grow human bodies without heads. Basically a whole body.
You just attach the head when the body fails.
Have you seen the movie The Island with Ewan McGregor and Scarlett Johansson? They think they're in a post-apocalyptic dystopia, but it turns out they're genetically engineered by rich people. It's a factory that makes clones of rich people. So when the rich people need organ transplants, they have clones to take them from.
I'm into the stem cell meat growth because the factory farming industry is pretty horrific as an animal on animal. Like if we're going to colonize the galaxy and be the predominant force, we really shouldn't be imprisoning and consuming animals if we can help it. It's pretty nasty way to live deep down. I asked God, will I be judged at the when I'm dead, will I be judged? It said, no, you'll be judged for factory farming. You all will.
That's one of the worst things that we do as humans. There was a video on X that went viral recently about how they slaughter pigs. and they basically put them on this kind of like conveyor belt type
Yeah,
thing.
I saw that.
And they have these electric shocks that go right into their temples and just render them unconscious instantly. And they say it's humane. But I'm watching that. I'm like, none of this is really humane.
Growing stem cell meat in laboratories that can be the food that we can use, and then alongside with growing organs, it's leading me to this, talking about chimeras, which is a funny word. Alex Jones talked about 20 years ago. People made fun of them. It's human-animal hybrid, genetically created animals. I wonder if, with a lot of people are talking about, I've seen aliens, I've seen alien life, and it's not a topic tonight. I hope in the next couple days or next week we can talk a lot about chimeras. It can be more of a real conversation because we're like breeding, I believe, humans with advanced genetics, whatever you want to call it. Like, who knows what? I mean, they had like spider silk, like in goat milk. They blended a goat and a spider, and when the goat was milked, it would have spider silk in the milk.
What?
Yeah, it's old too. That's like 10 years ago or something.
Oh my God.
They were breeding animals to have different color skin and things.
Glowing mice.
Glowing?
Yeah. Bioluminescent.
Bioluminescent creatures. That's why it'll be like humans that don't need as much oxygen, so they'll be able to swim underwater really long, run really far.
Well, I think this already exists. I always think that what we see in Hollywood is predictive programming, right? And so this whole Marvel flood of all these movies where they almost look like they could be really happening because the special effects have come so far. My conspiracy theory is I think they're prepping the population for actual superheroes.
Yeah, they're going to be called tweakers.
I think we already have super soldiers.
Splicers.
No, I think they'll call them. They might be tweaks or tweakers because if someone's a tweak, they're tweaking their genome. Maybe they'll you call it splicing the genome. I just
From
thought
BioShock.
Okay, then we'll have to call it something different. Although
Splicers.
splicers are cool. Are you splicing? Are you tweaking right now? Like I'm a
splicers.
tweak. I don't know about you guys. I'm tweaked up. Like I'm genetically modified. And there's going to be like a thing about like when one tweak goes crazy, when one splicer goes crazy with his super
Like in BioShock.
unintended consequence of having the genetic therapy.
It's literally BioShock.
What happens is one guy, everyone's doing great, everyone can run really fast. Then one guy, there's an unintended genomic consequence. He goes crazy, hurts a lot of people, and then there'll be people that are like, no more tweaking, no more genetic therapy. They are the enemy, and it'll be like mutants,
Ian.
There'll be people that want them.
Ian.
And then people
You
have to
haven't
stand
played
up for them.
BioShock. Like, everybody who's played BioShock is going, Ian, please.
Yeah,
play
but it's going to be real. It's going to be, and we have to lead the ethical argument about why they're still real people. Like they're still people, but how dangerous to have a superhuman that could. I mean, who knows how fast they could think? And
I think they already exist. That's my theory. They're probably underground somewhere.
so, do we treat them with equal rights as humans?
Robots should not have equal rights.
I'm talking about genetically
Yeah.
modified humans.
Well,
What we
then they're
should do
humans,
is we should create like large robots that can police these superpowered individuals, and we can give them a cool name, maybe something based off like ancient Rome or something, like a sentinel.
Sentinels, yeah.
That'd be cool.
Overwatching, that's a good term would be someone that's like stands sentinel to.
Well, the sentinels will just we'll make robots that will help us keep control of these superpowered individuals. These the people with this genetic mutation, these mutants.
And that's like Magneto went crazy. He's a version. And then so the humans are like,
we're literally talking about X-Men, guys.
the population is like, all mutants are evil because they saw how horrible the worst of them could be. And then it's up to some people are like, actually, no, maybe not. Maybe the only way to stop these truly evil cybernids is to craft better ones.
Cybernids?
Yeah. There's going to be dudes with like cybernetics, and then there's going to be dudes that are just pure mutant, dude.
There's part of me that I have this idea of maybe it'd be a sci-fi story, but in the future, I imagine that there's going to be people that are like, we don't want to have any kind of augmentation at all, and they're going to be like the pure people, like the purists, and then but then there's going to be, I imagine, like super super modified people that are like in a cult that are like, our job is to protect the normal people. Like we're like the knights of the old that are here, that exist to protect the
Sentinelese truck.
If there are super powered individuals due to like genetic alterations, there will be mechanically enhanced people. So there will be police that are wearing enhanced suits, and you will not be standard issue for civilians. It will be like, if you got a problem with the mutants, you join the Corps, and they'll give you one of these suits, and you can use that to police the crazy powered people.
I think that'd make a cool sci-fi story.
Yeah,
like the normal people that are being protected by the
normies,
super augmented. Because I imagine
that's just literally every superhero genre. Like that's what Justice League is about.
Well, I mean, it's not. More what I'm thinking is like everyone on Earth is like somehow
Yes, they have the
augmented. And then they
Watchtower in outer space orbiting the Earth, and the Justice League, which is a massive organization of like 200 superheroes.
Yeah, but that's like 200, and the people, all the people on Earth are normal. What I'm talking about, like,
No,
is
they're
a
not.
whole-
No. In Justice League, the Justice League is not all superpowered people. They're also villains, and then they're varying degrees. And especially what they're doing now with the
Legion
MCU.
of Doom, right?
They're what?
The Legion of Doom.
Indeed, and Lex Luthor doesn't have superpowers. He's just a CEO, you know?
Yeah, I think a lot, since I've played Star Wars The Old Republic, I think a lot about dudes that are cyber...
Knights of the Old Republic?
Knights of the Old Republic, and the Old Republic Online. I played the multiplayer one, the Old Republic epic game. I played it with my friends. I played a Jedi Guardian, but I'm born to the mutations and using like overriding my genetic code. But you can use cybernetics to do that too. Like my buddy would jack into his brain and like have super targeting and like I don't know. Or you could do both, I guess. And there will probably be mutations that you specifically do to your genome to handle certain cybernetics. And like if you didn't get the mutation, it'll kill you when you try and implant it.
Yeah. What were you going to say about MCU?
They have heroes of lesser powers. They have
Oh,
Jessica
yeah.
Jones and Daredevil.
Yes. Daredevil's like a street level character.
Yeah.
And then there's Spider-Man, and then there'd be like the cosmic levels.
We're going to go to your Rumble rants and Super Chat, so smash the like button, share the show and all that good stuff. But before we do, we got a great sponsor for you. It is the Rumble Wallet. Go to wallet.rumble.com, guys. Censorship is not gone. Something weird is afoot, and Rumble Wallet is non-custodial, meaning they can't ban you from it. So if you want to trade Tether, Bitcoin, or Tether Gold, you can do this with the Rumble Wallet app, and you will never get banned because it's non-custodial. So check it out, wallet.rumble.com. Thanks for sponsoring the show, guys. But let's grab your rants and Super Chats and see what you guys are on about today. We got Paige. What does it say? I can't pronounce your name. Let's say Paige. My son Nolan has been watching Timcast with me since he was about a toddler and is turning 9. Could y'all wish him a happy birthday? Phil's his fave and talks with him the first Sunday of each month. Happy birthday, Nolan!
Happy birthday, Nolan.
Happy birthday,
Cheers,
Nolan.
bud.
Well, nice job, dude.
Thanks for subscribing to my to my X account.
Indeed. Joshua says, we don't want war. We want to quickly and swiftly annihilate the threat. Resume normal life.
Thank you, sir.
Indeed. Token Maga says, read Animal Farm yesterday, and I've never wanted to eat bacon more in my life. Also very disgusted by that trailer. I recommend the animated Animal Farm film, too, where it's just like merciless. It was like the story was meant to be merciless. Torture and death.
Yeah.
And the movie is just like, I just wanted to party, man. Why were you mean to me? Because we needed food.
Yeah, the book was violent with the guise of a cartoony situation because it's cute little animals, but like the movie seems to be making it actually cute, trying to make it actually cute. Anyway, I didn't see the movie yet, but I'm about to.
Miss Miahaha? Tim, there's no toll to either Iran or the U.S. Trump's statement, free and safe, literally says no toll. Levitt basically called it the fake reporting today. Well, that's interesting. Suppose it was all lies.
Yeah, we'll see how things actually get hammered out.
NNY says, Tim, you're incorrect. The correct way to calm a woman down is to say, calm down, you're acting just like your mother. It works every time, and I endorse the practice. It also results in a frying pan to the face.
That's what I'm wondering. Was it your lack of consciousness? Did you dip out of the conscious realm, and that's why you thought everything was fine for a moment?
What?
Like, did she put you to sleep when you said that? Like, what do you mean everything was fine after that? Where you fall? Did she knock you unconscious? That's what the...
Oh,
Did anyone get that? That was a little too esoteric.
Indeed. All right, let's see what we got going on here. We got Bystander Syndrome says, it must be a sad thing for the soul to come on this show day in and day out and lie constantly. Tim is a shell of a man. I feel worse for Ian. It's like he's a hostage or something. And I would just say, Israel's not coming to get you, friend. Israel isn't real. It was just made up by parents to scare children like Michael Jackson or the Boogeyman.
Just because they call it is real doesn't mean that it's real.
Let's see. Optimus Prime says, you asked on X if we've seen Law-Abiding Citizen, but have you seen Samuel L. Jackson's movie Unthinkable? I haven't. What's that one about?
I don't know.
I
haven't heard of it
either.
Jackson's the man.
He's in everything.
I love his work.
Snakes on a plane.
Let's go. Drecky Brinny says, Tim, my wife and I love listening to IRL. We recently had our first baby. He spent 4 days in the NICU. Would you mention our Give, Send, Go? Vincent-Cox-NICU. Best of luck. Hopefully that everything is okay.
Get it, Vincent.
Baby is healthy.
You right?
John Rambo says, make insane asylums full again. Seconded. I agree. All right. Turbo Active says, Arena's murderer found incompetent. Laws hit the books in many states since COVID. My assaulter is free. It's been 3 years. Doesn't go to court. Ordered restoration class. Picked up DV and is out again. You know? Yep. Proto Prime says, hey, Phil, Mia Jovovich has the solution to OpenClaw's memory shortcomings. Check out her GitHub.
I saw that, but if I understand correctly, she was actually paid. She's not actually doing the coding.
I was going to say.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like when Kylie Jenner made that how to play poker video and everybody just side-eyed.
Yeah.
You know.
I was pumped that Mila Jovovich was an AI developer.
Yeah, that's what's alleged, but there's also people that are saying that she actually doesn't do any coding or anything like that. She
Coding? Vibe coding?
no, that she's being
Yeah, from The Fifth Element.
Yeah.
She did a X video. You can find it on X a couple days ago, I think.
I mean, that's just what people are saying. I don't have any kind of information whether she actually does or not, but I did see the talent or whatever that she's talking about, and so it looks interesting.
All right, we got Herman. He says, Tim and Ian, please play Kerbal Space Program so you can better understand orbital mechanics. I have played it.
I have it.
Yeah.
What do you
It's
think?
been years, though.
I've thought that same thing 3 times in my life.
What I should play Kerbal Space Program.
It's training.
Civ 4, man. One of the classics.
I know. Kerbal will be like work. But I think it'll be fun. I hear it's fun.
What's the game where you build machines? Oh, I have this game. You can build wooden machines and then little guys will attack your castle. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, games like
Siege or something?
I don't have that. Like real physics games where you build
Is it a phone game or is it
mechanical
a
physics?
PlayStation?
No, it's a game called Besieged, I think it's called. Look it up.
I have a lot of tower
That game's
defense
so
games.
good.
Tower defense is what I was thinking. Yeah.
Tower
No, it's so there's various scenarios and you have to build from scratch machines. I think it's called Besieged.
And then you constantly get waves of attackers and stuff.
different levels.
Yeah, it's
Besieged?
it's on Steam.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it on Steam.
And there's little knights will run at you, and then you build flamethrowers and just ignite all of them.
I love games like that, man.
Yeah.
All right. Danger Russ Day says Tim Follett was right. Caesar in classical Latin was pronounced with a K. Caesar. V's are W's, so it's Veni Vidi Vici is Weni Weedy Wiki. Ave Maria is Awe. How about that? That's true, because I always explain to people it's Deus Volt, not Deus Volt. And they're like, Deus Volt. I'm like, no, it's Volt. It's the other way around.
Deus Volt.
Yeah. Double V.
I love those Romans.
Yeah,
Think about them a lot.
we do. Brian Brian Lacompte says, I adopted 2 of Adam's dogs. I grew up on the opposite side of Midway from Tim and Seamus's family. Grew up with mine. My worlds are colliding. He adopted your dogs?
He has, my 2 dogs, Cloud and Sunlight, had 4 babies. I kept 2 of them, named Moon and Sky. And he has the other 2, named Lily and AJ. So, yes, shout out to Brian.
Peter Gowak says, time to part ways with Israel. This is ridiculous. Yeah, if Israel is compromising Trump's peace plan, this is disastrous.
Yeah.
And that's just regular old criticism of a country. Double says, I am a fan of a shared poll with Iran. Make your friends rich and make your enemies rich. Then wait to see which is which. That's from the MCU.
Mm-hmm.
What is it? Yeah. Make your friends rich and make your enemies rich. Then wait to find out which one is which.
That's Ultron.
That was the
Well, it was Tony Stark and Ultron said it. And actually, what does it even mean?
Fund both sides of the war and then partner with whoever wins.
Yeah, right. That's a good one. Yeah. I like that.
Them bankers know what they're doing.
weapons manufacturers.
Yep. Melul says they got the deserving from female logic. It's the feminization of the world. Is this a reference to the leaker?
It must be that.
Maybe.
Good term. The deserving.
Raymond G. Stanley Jr. says, I've got 10 plus years in the industrial warehouse world. If dude burned down our workplace, all 200 employees would be effed. Very selfish of himself. Like communists, why don't I get more stuff from other people? Why don't they give me things for no reason? I'm going to burn everything down. That's literally the mentality of every single communist. This guy was enacting literal communism to the T. He was the perfect example of it. You know, we can say Antifa is burning stuff down, but this guy's literally in the factory being like, I deserve more money. Light stuff on fire. Bro, seriously, I'm not advocating for this, but couldn't he have just stolen stuff before destroying everything? Literally just grab a box of toilet paper and then sell them on the black market for like $100 because, you know, COVID.
He's so stupid.
But that would have been illegal. He was just exercising his.
But that would have been illegal. That's right.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Much better to burn the building down. Good Lord. That's totally legal.
All right. Kendall says, send Ian to the actual negotiations to televise the Angel Studios negotiations to the end of the Iran war. Because it's not a war at this point. Could be if it goes on until 2026. I'm not sure I follow.
I'll be there.
Technically a conflict. Congress has to, right, announce that it's a war for it to technically be a war.
Yeah.
I mean, in a strict legal sense. But
Yeah.
we know it's a war. All right. Rizuru says, hey, Tim, can you connect me to Ian? I've been trying to talk to him for a minute. Semi-related. Hi to the crew. It's been a hot minute, but years ago I saw Phil in person, so shout out for the amazing show.
Cheers.
I mashed out of with. Ian, what's your ex?
Ian Crossland, my full name. You can message me there. I think you can message me, or you can like leave a comment on my most recent post, which is a retweet of Carter's post of this show.
Oh, yes.
Find me there. S.A. Federale says, my first platoon sergeant got Siri new and wanted to show us that it literally showed you the best place to hide a body based on location. 2 days later, that trick wasn't allowed. I think a lot of this weight is QoS nerfing. What does that mean?
I have no idea what any of that means.
Not sure I follow. Chris Lancaster says, when it comes to others and AI, I say those who cannot adapt are quickly swept away on the tide of their own obsolescence. They'll be left behind. Indeed. And when large groups of people, through no fault of their own, are excised from the economy and can't get food or feed their kids, they burn things down and kill people. I'm not saying they're right to do so. It's just a consequence of what happens. So, you know. Cody Johnson says, Ghost in the Shell is why I'm in college to be a biomedical scientist. I will be helping to make cyborgs a reality.
Yes.
Yeah, the big problem is rejection and bonding. How do you get the organic material to bond with inorganic materials it just doesn't.
Like a carbon metal bond would be probably the starting point. Like a
Maybe.
carbon titanium nano.
Because the body rejects it all.
Yeah, the carbon. I know the body will hold graphene because it's inert carbon in the system. Like when they broke a mouse's spine and then they threaded graphene tethers from both directions to touch, and then the spine regrew around the graphene tethers. In 18 days, the mouse, who was completely paralyzed, had 88% motility again. So I think the bodies can handle graphene. We'll find out.
Sure, graphene. What do we got here? Honky Kong says, the island is actually the truth of what happened on Epstein's Island. People are being cloned and harvested in underground bunkers on Epstein Island. I mean, I don't know about that on Epstein Island, but I wouldn't be surprised to find out that wealthy people are cloning people and doing weird stuff. You know what I mean?
That's going to be, that's going to happen in the future.
Well, I'll tell you guys this. I lost my first two dogs, Raindrop and Flex, and I actually sent their tissue sample to a cloning facility in Texas. So my first two dogs have been genetically reduplicated, and they're waiting for me to pull the trigger to clone them, which I have not thought of doing. I just have their DNA stored safely. Pretty crazy you could do that.
You have it stored in their property?
Yes, it's cryogenically frozen. I have to pay an annual storage fee of $150.
By the way, cryogenic temperatures is Kelvin of 0 to Kelvin of 4. Above 4 Kelvin, it's no longer cryogenic. I just learned that from also the AI yesterday when I was going down the road.
So it's in that range.
It slows down so much.
It's expensive, though, to actually get the surrogate to do the pregnancy, which is why I haven't done it. It's pretty expensive. Yeah.
How much?
Oh.
So to get the tissue to the laboratory and get them to sample and get the DNA is $1,600, and then $150 a year for the storage.
Yeah.
The cost of actually cloning is $50,000.
Oh.
But you get the whole litter. So they implant 6 or 7 clones, and you get all of them.
What if you don't want all of them, though?
You'd have to sell them or give them to your friends and family, clones of your dog that you lost.
Maybe to a farm.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
They create a bunch of clones of your dog?
Yes. Because if they do 1 or 2, the female dog will reject the pregnancy because dogs are litter.
Right.
They're used to having big litters. So they have to give them a big litter of cloned embryos.
Can't they just clone a bunch of different ones?
That's the way they do it. And they could do cats and horses as well. Horses are $25,000 and cats are $25,000, but dogs are $50.
What would happen if they put like a big dog embryo into a little dog?
They won't do that.
I'm like, would it die?
It could kill the mother. Yeah.
That's crazy.
That can happen in real life too. Like,
Well, I mean, if you got like a dachshund and like an Irish wolfhound, it's not happening.
Well, you need the male to be the small one and the female to be the big one. Yeah.
I'm talking about the other way around.
Oh yeah, no.
Because if you get a male dachshund on a female Irish greyhound, like no problem.
Right.
That thing's gonna pop. They're gonna, it's gonna that dog's gonna be like, I was pregnant.
Exactly.
Things are tiny. It's pretty wild that we can do that.
Yeah.
Anyway, Ramo to you says assault rifle, made up term that has no meaning. Technically, it was coined by the Germans, and it means or select fire rifle. The Germans.
I mean, anything could be an assault weapon.
It's
Right? This could be an assault.
If you assault
Well,
something
assault
with
weapon
it-
is a meaningless term. It's not defined in law.
Yeah.
And assault rifle is a reference to select fire rifles post World War II, which have not been made for civilian use since I think 1985.
Likely because you would use them as single fire from far away, and then when you got close to the target in the trench or wherever you are assaulting a target, you would go to auto and just like.
That's not correct.
Well, what do you mean?
That's not how they do it.
What?
That's not how no.
When you get up
When you're in the
close, you
trench,
go into
you don't
auto
go
mode.
full auto.
Well, no, semi. I mean, you can speed up the rate of fire when the target's closer.
But you wouldn't need to. They're close.
Zip them up,
you
Probably use your sidearm in close quarters.
you use full
Rifle?
auto. Yeah, I mean, you use full auto to suppress, right? So if you and your buddies are here and you want your friends to go over here, but there's guys shooting over here, the guys with the machine guns shoot at those guys while these guys move, right? So the point isn't like, oh, I want to use the machine gun up close. It's to make the people that are shooting at you get their heads down. So you put a bunch of bullets going at them so they get their heads down so your friends can move. Think
And
of it like football.
close quarters, you don't want to use a long gun.
Yeah, not at all.
Yeah.
I was talking like some idiot just then. Phil, you make a lot of sense.
He's become
You
self-aware.
enable your compatriots to do the assault.
Think of it like
you suppress the.
Think of it like
defense. Yeah, I get
football, right? Think of it like football. You're looking to move the ball down the field, and so you've got guys blocking, but they're blocking by shooting them so many bullets at the other guys that they want to get their heads down because there's so many bullets they don't want to get hit. So you shoot at those guys a lot.
but-
That's what you use the full auto for, and these guys move.
What if Wonder Woman is there and she's just got the shield and the 50 BMG is bouncing off of it?
Yeah, I mean, then
just
Wonder
run
Woman
through
just
them.
All the dudes would be.
All right, guys, we're going to go to the uncensored portion of the show. We got a video to play for you that's not family friendly at all. It's brutal. You've been warned. We're going to play that at rumble.com/Timcast IRL. Don't miss it. You can follow me on X and Instagram at Timcast. Adam, do you want to shout anything out?
Yeah, Adam Francisco on all platforms. I had a lot of fun, and of course, meeting Tim. He's one of my biggest influences in the political world.
Appreciate it, man.
So really good to be here.
Yeah, it was great to see you, man.
Yeah.
I'm at Ian Crossland. Find me at Ian Crossland. And that's all over the internet pretty much. Go to graphene.movie, check out this new. There have been a bunch of edits. Carter, you're actually helping work on some of the music, I hear.
Yeah, no, I'm taking a look at what y'all have so far, and I'm excited to pump some stuff out, a little 80s vibe and whatnot.
I'm amped. And then I did a show with Roseanne I mentioned before. I won't keep mentioning it, but it was the last one we did. Go to her YouTube channel. It's there. Roseanne Barr and I, Ian Crossland. See you later. Oh, Carter.
Oh, yeah, you can follow me at Carter Banks everywhere, and Carter Banks Official everywhere else, and follow our label at Trash House Records on YouTube. Phil.
I am Phil That Remains on Twix. If you want to read about the new Mythos project that Anthropic came out with, I wrote a piece about it last night on Patreon. You can check that out on patreon.com/Phil That Remains. The band's going on tour at the end of the month. We're starting in Albany on the 29th. We're going out with Born of Osiris and Dead Eyes. We'll be out until the end of May. You can get tickets at allthatremainsonline.com. And if you want to check out the band's music, it's All That Remains at Apple Music, Amazon Music, Pandora, YouTube, Spotify, and Deezer. Don't forget the left lane is for crime.
We will see you all at rumble.com/Timcast IRL right now. Thanks for hanging out.